everybody, and welcome to another live stream. Today, I'm going to be coloring in and kind of finishing off a Starbarians shot of Hogstrong. It's been animated already, it's been animated off stream, but today I thought it'd be fun to color it on stream. And my wife is busy doing other things, so it's not like I can have dinner. I can't enjoy myself with a lovely dinner, which is what I should be doing at 7 PM on a Sunday night. So I thought, well, who cares? I'll just do some work, and I'll entertain the audience. Hello to Agsma, who's given me a hard time for being 3 minutes late. I wouldn't define that as late. I think if it's only 3 minutes late, I'm still technically early. Hello to Agsma, hello to Bowser the Bun, hello to Darby88, hello Xantha, hey Gucksack, my good buddy Dave. How you doing, Dave? Dave is Gucksack. Check out the Gucksack channel if you want to have a good laugh, or check out Dave Brain's Blender stuff on Twitter if you want to. Well, it's still funny, but it's just impressive and funny. Dave is a longtime collaborator of mine, and hopefully we get to work again together this year. Hello, Meredith Stanley. Hello, the Bad Cow Bunch. Hello, Special Fish Simon and Jacob Tucker and Sam Gay and Knight5225. I think I've said hello to enough people. Hello, Liam Hart. Hey everyone. So I think you're all under here. I think you're all here under false pretenses, basically, because I'm just going to be coloring in. It's going to be very, very boring. Really, I don't want to dress it up too much. I'm just going to be doing color fills, but I'll answer questions that I see in the chat. The super chats are back and they are working. It's no longer going through Streamlabs. So if you do want to make sure I see a question or a comment or whatever, or an insult, or a threat, you can send it as a super chat or a super threat. But otherwise, I'm just going to be sat here basically for the next 2 hours doing color fills. So the time is nigh to get out of here, because it's going to get really, really boring. Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad you're well, Dave, aka Gucksack. I'm doing all right. And just before I get into it, actually, I should tell you all what I'm doing. Right now, I'm working on a lot of different projects. A big Starbarians comic, which is not on hold as much as it is on pause. And I thought it was really time that I get out an animation. Just a short animation. This is not Starbarians episode 4. This is nothing that's going to be like many, many minutes long or anything like that. It's just a little, I don't know, just a little something for the channel. I don't want to let it go 6 months without a new video, and so I'm just making a very short, silly kind of gag Starbarians animation. Maybe I'll do 2, maybe I'll do 3. But the comic announcement will come this year. You'll be able to pre-order the comic. I just didn't think it was in the right spirit to ask people to pre-order a comic having not had any Starbarians animation from me this year. So I am grinding, cranking, cramming, whatever word you want to use, on some Starbarians animation at the moment. So yeah, and then I'm hoping maybe in June I can get Dr. Beast 4 done, because it's mostly done, or partly done at least. So I will get into some color fills. We have a shot here of Hogstrong basically. Now there's a reason that they're not allowed to open their eyes. Hang on, I can't open the. Here we go. So he's creeping around and he can't open his eyes, and you can probably figure out, if I show you the background, you'll be able to figure out exactly why that is. So we've got the shot here of him creeping around, and we'll have to do all of the shading, all the different colors and stuff. I'll try and kind of figure them out in a moment. But before I do that, I'll get into doing some color fills on his axe gun, because that's kind of nice and easy, and there's nothing complex about that. But let me see if there's anything in the chat that I can answer for you, and any more friends that I can say hello to. Hello to Tassa Daforer and Cowloss7GT and Scott and Travis the Insaminate and Dylan. Hey Dylan. Tassa says, at this point, how long have you had a song planned for Elder Scrolls 6? I am not going to do a video for Elder Scrolls 6, I'm afraid. A few people have asked me about that. I have nothing to say about it, really. At this point in my life, I would much rather make my own projects happen with my own original characters, and I don't want to do marketing for a video game that has plenty of marketing budget of its own. It's certainly not like Elder Scrolls 6 is going to fly under the radar and not get talked about and written about and streamed by millions of people for the next decade. So Yeah, they can get by with their own marketing, but I mean, if they throw me a bunch of money or something, or offer me money to do it, I might be interested in doing it. But I really don't have anything to say, I don't think, about Elder Scrolls 6. I spend most of my time now trying to get my own projects off the ground, and I'm interested in films and comics and animation, and I don't have a lot of time for video games, sadly, anymore. So yeah, I don't think that Elder Scrolls 6 is really going to see a video out of me unless it's a video to say, sorry, I don't really want to do this, which is lame. Is really lame. All right, let me fill some of these guys in. Hey, the Magma Muncher with a big super chat. Big super chat. Helping me and Google out at the same time. You don't need to do that, Magma Muncher. Magma Muncher sends 19.99 and says, yippee, I can send threats through super chat again. Magma, you have plenty of avenues you could send threats through. You could send it through the Patreon messaging service, or you could send it through Twitter. You probably have my home address by now, actually, with the amount of pieces of artwork you've bought. I forget if I put return address on there or not. Let me see. Xantha says he's not sure if it actually deserves a song, Elder Scrolls 6. Well, I don't know. It remains to be seen. I mean, I'm definitely curious about the game. I'm sure I'll play it in some fashion, but it might be a case of literally... You know what? Actually, I don't think I'll play it. I think my wife Joyce will play it, and I'll watch for one weekend, and then after that, I'll just go back to work because I've got bills to pay, and I can't just flop around playing games all the time, as much as that would be fun. Alright, let's just keep doing this. I tell you what, I should really just tackle one color at a time. It'd be a lot quicker. I'm trying to speed things up by basically compressing everything into one layer these days. We've got highlights in the same layer as the rest of the animation, as the same layer as the, you know, like the color separation for the hair and the shading, and I honestly don't know if it makes things faster at all, but I'm going to try and speed things up a little bit by just coloring the one color at a time, and not just treating the axe as one thing, because it's two different colors. So alright, hey Cherry Bomber and Gurple. Gurple says, you're an animator, but you're an animator, you're rich. I'm not sure if you mean in regards to taking time off, and I'm sure you're being sarcastic. I'm sure some animators are rich too. I mean, it really depends on the kind of work you're doing and who you're doing it for. But if I have any excess money, it will be going into projects and trying to make them happen. That's the goal. That to me is more fun than any game. Is making a little film. I really love doing that. Trying to make people laugh, trying to make people smile. All that cheesy stuff. Hey, Starbuck Veldspar, I like your name. And hey, Alpha Red 5. And Scott, I said hello to you. All right, so let's see now. Let's get through these colors. So yeah, Hogstrong is creeping around here in kind of almost like a graveyard kind of tomb location, and he's not allowing himself to open his eyes, because if he does, something terrible will happen, which is part of this little story that I'm planning for kind of a mini Starbarians episode, and I do have a release date in mind. I would like it to be out by the 18th of May. That's the plan this year, is to try and get this little bad boy out by the 18th of May. That would be lovely. I'd be very happy with myself if I was able to get it out by the 18th. That'd be grand. So just coloring one color at a time. That seems to be the best system when you've got a lot of coloring in to do. Just kind of tackle one little area at a time. Magma says all of my animation money goes towards my yacht. Magma is a very, very generous supporter, Patreon supporter, super chatter, you know, tipper, etc. So I don't know where you're getting the money from. You're getting it from somewhere. Maybe you have a real job, or maybe you're just very friendly with the cartels, the cartoon cartel. Magma Muncher, by the way, is an animator. You can check out some of his shorts on his channel. My favorite is probably Ted the Microwave, although there was the one that Joyce recommended I've not seen yet, or I don't remember it, the Mountain Dew Sea Monkeys one. I should bring that up tonight and give it a viewing, because Joyce actually is a fan of the Magma Munchers channel as well, and she showed me Ted the Microwave, which is my favorite one now. Alrighty, okie doke. Hello, John Dehan. John Dehan says, howdy. Sam Gay says, is there a space Medusa in Starbarians? That'd be fun. Oh, maybe there is. Maybe that's why he can't open his eyes. Shit, I thought it was being all clever. By the way, this has nothing to do with James Baxter putting out a little Medusa animation last week. This was planned before that. When I saw him put out his good, well-animated Medusa cartoon, I thought, oh no. People are going to think my slightly rushed, pathetic Medusa cartoon is an answer to that, or like an imitation of that, but it's definitely not. I can't compete with the work of James Baxter. That man's just obviously a brilliant animator, almost machine-like. If you've not checked it out yet, if you're into hand-drawn animation, look up James Baxter. He's an ex-Disney animator. Is he still at Disney? I don't think so. I think he's somewhere else now, but yeah, he worked on like Beauty and the Beast and some really classic stuff, and he put out a little test film recently that's a Medusa running through the forest, and her snakes, like the snakes in her hair, are all coming alive, and it's just beautiful. It actually looks, I think it looks too good. I think I want to see more hand-drawn mistakes, more errors and more mistakes. Hey, another super chat from Magma Muncher. Thank you very much, Magma, saying, take this money and never speak of the Cartoon Cartel again. Come and break my fingers. Alright. I won't. Don't worry. Come and bust a giant peg bar over my knees. Alright. We should probably start a kind of animation cartel. Not like the one that Ed Catmull had. Do you guys know about this? They had a wage-fixing cartel scandal a couple of years at, like, I think it was Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks maybe, where the animation crew weren't really able to find better paying work at one of the other companies because there was a wage-fixing scandal. It's not very magical, is it? It's not. There's no magic and Disney-like fun in that. Right, we're nearly done with the lighter color on the axe gun here, so I can go and grab that darker tone. Oh boy, it's a lot of drawings. This actually took, so I woke up yesterday at 6 in the morning, set my alarm for 6 in the morning. I got up, I farted around for half an hour, and then I got to work on this, and I thought I can do this shot in one day. This is a one-day shot, and I'll just show you it quickly for context. I've got the green background here, so I can actually see all the colors, because if I take that away, where are we? If I take the green away on whatever layer it is, I totally have lost it. Yeah, we go. I'll get all the grays and midtones and stuff will be lost in the background. The background is like I said, kind of like a ruin, lots of temple kind of stones and stuff. Anyway, this shot it was supposed to take me a day, and it ended up taking all of today and most of all of yesterday and most of today, and it's frightening, really. Oh, I got another super chat I should acknowledge from Xantha. Hey Xantha, thank you very much. Xantha says, imagine if Coom was spelled cum with a B and aggressively pronounced with the B at the end. That would be wild. Appreciate the super chat, Xantha, but yeah, that would be wild. Hey Jizzwiz. Jizzwiz says he's unusually good at reflecting 3D camera sweeps in 2D animation. I'm curious. Yes, talking about James Baxter. Yeah, I'm actually wondering if he used any kind of 3D model, like placing models. Obviously, he wouldn't have done that back in the day, but the Medusa test, she looked 3D to me in places, and I wonder if maybe he referenced a 3D model, kind of dropped it in and drew over it for certain poses and stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's so talented, I could believe that he didn't do that, but it also looks so precise and amazing Look up James Baxter Medusa if you don't know what I'm talking about. It looks so precise and amazing that I wonder, I wonder if he did or not. But the 3D camera move stuff that he did for like Beauty and the Beast, I'm pretty sure he did that without any kind of computer or aid or anything, and it's unbelievable looking. It's so unbelievable. The shot of in the ballroom with Belle and Beast dancing, it's like a 3D camera move, and they did a 3D CGI background, but his character animation of Belle and Beast dancing, to animate an object rotating in 3D space is a challenge enough, but to do 2 characters dancing and interacting together, you have to not only animate those characters flawlessly, but you have to animate the camera, them in 3D space rotating. It's just in perspective. That's horrible. That is a complete nightmare. I have no idea how he does that, but it's really wild. It's cool. I mean, that's Beauty and the Beast is a pretty damn good film, to be honest. It's a pretty damn good animated film, so it's filled with a lot of impressive stuff. Like Gaston, my favorite character ever. Hello, Simeon. Simeon said, controversial question, AI art, what do you think of it? I don't really know yet. I think it's inevitable. I think that people are, it's going to be used ethically or unethically, and I'm sure that eventually the ethical question will probably get pushed aside when they find completely ethical ways to source, public domain work, or the work of artists that, opt in to be part of the algorithm or the part of the reference library. So I think that, I'll be honest. So if I could just get a complete AI coloring program to do what I'm doing right now, which is color fills, I would do it. Is that taking a job away from someone? Not really, because I don't have the money to pay someone to do this right now, which is why I'm doing it. So, I think that there's a lot of application for AI to remove labor from the process. This is not particularly creative right now. I'm making no creative decisions, essentially. I'm just doing color fills, which is why it's kind of easy to talk at the same time. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of application to make art easier, but I'm not really comfortable with AI doing the really creative jobs, character design, writing stories, that kind of thing. I feel like it's all going to be implemented in that process, though. I'm sure a character designer will type in a prompt. I want to see a princess from an African village, and she's wearing red, and it'll give you 5,000 different iterations of that, and you can pick the ones you like the most, and probably the person who has a better sensibility for character designing will probably pick the more appealing or the better fitting design. So it will cut down on a lot of labor, but it's really tough. It's like literally something we've never had to deal with before, because for someone like me that doesn't have budgets to pay people, I can see lots of opportunities to make more content or make more work happen, because it's not like I have that budget to pay people to begin with. But should Disney be using it when they absolutely do have hundreds of millions of dollars that they can pour into films? That's sort of a different case. So I don't know. I just don't know. It's a long-winded way of saying there's a lot of questions yet to be answered. We did use it a little bit in Ghostbleed, actually. Hula P did some textures using Midjourney, and I didn't know at the time Midjourney was sourcing other artwork. So I'm less comfortable with it probably now, but I don't think he did anything wrong. It basically just made our life easier. It made it so that we didn't have to draw the textures by hand. We were able to, and he did draw a lot of the textures by hand, and I drew some textures too. But it meant that, that was just a job we didn't have to do. There wasn't the budget there to hire someone necessarily. All right, I spent a lot of time on the AI thing. Let me talk to some other people. Special Fish Simon says, boring question. I'll take a boring question over a controversial one. What are your thoughts on Ralph Bakshi's art style? It's funny, actually. I was listening to a lot of Ralph Bakshi interviews yesterday. I just woke up in a good Ralph Bakshi mood. What is his style? Because it kind of is different from film to film. If you look at Last Days of Coney Island, it's very different to Coonskin. Fritz the Cat is more like Robert Crumb's art, so that's different again. But I like it. I think he said actually in an interview that his style is just a product of what he can draw, or the style that he's comfortable in drawing in. And I'm a bit like that too. I'm not in love with the way I draw, but it's easy for me. It's like a second language, so I just slip into it a lot of the time. I like it, man. I don't have a problem with his style at all. I like his films, but I actually more than his films, I like him. I think he's a really intriguing, interesting character, and he follows me on Twitter, and I follow him. So I hope I'm Ralph Bakshi approved, but you might just see animator in someone's name and follow them back. He probably doesn't know anything I've made, but I like Ralph Bakshi a lot. He's 84 years old too. You know, I'm glad that he's hung in there as long as he has. He seems very with it for an 84-year-old. But yeah, I hope he hangs in a lot longer. Alpha Red says, "What is your favorite Don Bluth thing?" I don't know really. Don Bluth. I mean, I've not seen them all. I've not seen Pebble and the Penguin and Chanticleer. What's that one? What's the chicken one called? There's a chicken thing that he did about a kid that turns into a cat, and there's a chicken. I don't know. I'll just probably say Dragon's Lair. I like that stuff, you know, or Dragon's Lair or Space Ace. It's kind of that's more in my wheelhouse. I like the way that they look, and I love the character designs. I love his stuff generally, but I just haven't seen all of it, especially not the films. I think it's kind of weird that he asked for $500,000 to do his, or made $500,000. I don't know if he asked for it, but his Kickstarter did $500,000 for the Dragon's Lair movie, but it was a pitch deck they were making or some animation storyboards. I think a lot of people probably thought he was going to make the movie for that amount of money, which would have been impossible. But I think a lot of people made that mistake. I don't know if he was super clear, but I mean, I like his work a lot, so I shouldn't shit talk Don Bluth. Liam Hart says, "Thanks for being an inspiration." Hey, thank you, Liam. You're very, very welcome, and it's very flattering. Thank you, man. Hey, Big Texas Tony says, "I like The Secret of Nim." Yeah, I like The Secret of Nim too. The Bad Cow Bunch says, "Harry, who would win in a fight? The Nostalgia Critic or Base Linkara?" What is Base Linkara? Oh, they each get basic weapons for this battle. I would think that the Critic would win. I think the Critic would win, hands down. Linkara would get savaged. That's my take, my hot take. Oi, okay, so nearly done now with the stupid gun axe weapon. I should save this bad boy. Hello, Nolvol. Hello, Davy Kirkham. Let me see. Okay. And oh, it's not quite there. I have a little trick for extending this animation. If we look, he goes, he starts off over here, and he sort of takes a step, looks around, and then he takes another step. And if you look, the body here, the pose that we end on, is the same as the pose we begin on, except this leg is kind of turning in, and this leg is kicking out. And what I figure I could do is I could just copy and paste this pose, and then sort of have the animation continue on minus the changes of the leg. So basically I could get him to take 2 steps, 1, take 2 steps, and then if I just, you know, take this animation once it's colored and move it over and just change the leg, I could probably get him to finish the motion by walking off screen. So that's my plan. It's not very economic. This is quite a lot of animation and a lot of drawing, but that's my plan, just to get a little bit more bang for the buck, is to get him to walk off screen at least. Okay. Okay, so let's go in now. Dee. Get this all sorted out. See, I thought I could do this on stream today, but I tell you, coloring is not. I think it's an easy job. You don't really have to think too much, but it's there's a lot of it, you know. I never close my lines perfectly, so I always have these lumpy little gaps and holes in the drawings. There's always extra BS you have to do. Okay. It's too many frames too. I've actually been looking at a lot of old Egoraptor cartoons this week. Been feeling very nostalgia critic myself. I've been feeling very nostalgic myself and been looking at old Egoraptor cartoons from well, from back in the day. And I forget, like, in my mind, they're great looking cartoons, you know, they still are. And I always remember them as such. But even the ones that are pretty slick, you know, like the Avengers one with Thor fighting Hulk. I go back and I see, like, oh, there's actually not that many in-betweens. There's a lot of kind of taking a pose and just bouncing it and squashing it a little bit and then turning it into, immediately they like pop into a different pose. So that wouldn't have taken a terrible amount of time to do, but they still look really good and I still think they're funny. It's been fun going back to that well. Just probably once every, I don't know, 2-3 years, I'll go back and watch all the Oni cartoons and the Psychic Pebbles cartoons and the Ego cartoons and who else? Oh man, Sick Animation. If you're not familiar with Sick Animation, he's on YouTube, he's on Newgrounds. Look him up. He's one of my all-time favorites. Okay. Alright, so the axe is done. And you're right, Beck Carmine. It is like the axe from the Power Rangers. And I did see that show as a kid. And I forgot. And I thought I was being very original, having a gun that turns into an axe. But it turns out that I wasn't being very original at all. Alright, so let's move on to another color. I thought about taking a vote. But let's not do that. let's not give you guys any agency. No, you can of course leave the stream. You have all the agency you want. Let's just move on to the cape, because I feel like that'll be a good value in terms of how much real estate of the character gets colored versus how much work it actually is going to be to do. We'll get the inside of the cape done. And get this looking all majestic with the big old regal cape, looking like King Charles III. I can't call him king, he's going to be Prince Charles until probably the day I die. The day I die being two days from now, when royal assassins could kill me for treason. Bit of leg there. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Man, there are just some little trouble spots here that don't want to be colored. And it's such a dark color. I'm kind of nervous that I'm going to accidentally color in the line art and not even notice. That happens a lot when you're coloring in on something like Flash, is that if you're coloring, you know, a dark color, you might accidentally hit the line art if that's dark too. And then you've got colored line art. You've got line art that is temporarily purple or something, and you look like a buffoon. And all the pretty girls will laugh at you. Axma says, Sick Animation, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Sick Animation's absolutely the best. some of the funniest cartoons, probably the funniest cartoons online. I can't think of someone that makes me laugh more consistently. You know, that is also a web presence, first and foremost. He's the absolute GOAT. I love him. Let me see. Sinner! Hello, Sinner. Sinner says, speaking of old Newgrounds stuff, I really like going back to old Spaz Kids. Yeah, Spaz Kids is great too. I love Street Fighter Chode. I like going back to Spaz Kids cartoons. There's something about the way he animated along with the colors. It's really appealing. Yeah, he's excellent. Hello, Delaxia. Delaxia says, what would you say is better for color separation, strokes or lines? Lines, definitely, because they don't have any volume to them. A brush, like a brush stroke, has volume to it. So when you delete it, you're left with a gap. But if you're using the line tool, as you can see, the green and red separations there for the hair and for the shading, those are all done with the line tool, and those are going to be when they're deleted, they're not going to leave any kind of gap. But the brush kind of strokes that make up the black line for the body, if I was to delete them, you know, for example, I mean, I can do that right now. For example, if I deleted some here for the gun, oh. You see now you've got all those gaps inside the gun where there was line art or brush strokes, and there aren't any anymore. So, all right. In there, a bit of dirty colour in there. Oh, that's it? Okay, that sort of settles quite quickly. Ah, well, it'll be fine. Okay, I'll do the rest of the cape. Get that cape finished off. Get that cape to look all nice and capeified. See it through the underarm there. Becca Carmine says, I'm always going to enjoy Josh Palmer's work. Zurel is amazing. You're talking about Zurel there. If you've not seen Monkey Wrench, episode 2 just came out. Is it me? Did the last one only come out about 4 or 5 months ago? I feel it came out around the same time as Ghostbleed. I was trying to remember the name of that stupid thing I did. Yeah, I feel like the last one only came out about maybe 6 months ago, maybe not even that much. And that is, it's crazy. It is crazy how much he is able to put out and the quality that he's able to put out. Ghostbleed took me a couple of months, but I've basically not had, I feel like I've not had a moment to do anything since. I did about 11 pages of my comic book and the cover, and I sort of frittered time away on a few other little projects, but none of which have seen the light of day yet. And that was what, 5 months ago that came out, and since then it feels like Zurel's done about 8 cartoons, and they all look like TV standard. It's amazing. He is he's a one man army, and it's an inspiration. And I wish that YouTube rewarded him more for it, because kind of looks like at the moment Monkey Wrench I think is about 200k views, 230k views, which it should be over 1 million. I think it's at that level of quality. It's like that Has Been Hotel, Hell of a Boss, you know, level of professionalism, and a really good runtime too. It's not 40 seconds long, it's like 20 minutes basically. It feels like YouTube should be rewarding that. I know that YouTube is not a person, I know it's an algorithm mostly, but you know, I can still have a kvetch, I can still have a moan. But I also think that, you know, YouTube does whatever you want to say about it, it rewards consistency. So if he just keeps at it, I think ultimately there'll be a reward there. But it's so hard, you know, making an 18-minute cartoon, excuse me, is just so much work. I don't know what's going on down here. I don't know why the cape seems to be doing something weird here, so I gotta erase this. This is not good. Not good at all. Alright. Alright, what am I missed? Hello, Deadpan. How you doing? Axma says, speaking of royal family, are you familiar with Joanna Quinn's work? Rings a bell. I have a feeling they maybe made us look at Joanna Quinn stuff at university. I couldn't tell you anything about her though. Maybe did she come to speak at our university? Trying to figure out my terrible line art here. I've got the hair. Just the hair is stopping there. I'm trying to figure out, is that cape back there or is that negative space? Coloring in is for when you give it to somebody else, especially, it's a real challenge, because to figure out what, you know, is something space to be filled? Is it negative space? Is that weird little area under the arm meant to be their other arm, or is it supposed to be their chest, or is it something else entirely? It can get really hard, man. You take these little vague areas like oh, I don't know, just pick any kind of, like, what's this here? It's supposed to be the other shoulder, but somebody might not understand that, or they might think this is his shoulder when it's his hair, or whatever. If you sort of outsource coloring, I mean, it still probably saves you time, even if you have to go back and kind of correct little mistakes along the way. But yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing to get right the first time. I usually, even from experienced people, have to go in and make little changes to any coloring that they do for me. Although generally, if it's vague as to what an area is exactly that you're coloring in, it probably will be vague to the audience too, and it will probably look fine in motion, and you shouldn't worry about it too much. Okay. Right, so I'm gonna save that and have a little stretch. Hey, Fakanza! I'm doing well, thank you, Fakanza. How are you? Let me see who else has come by. I think I said hello to Novel and Dylan. Hey, Kyle. And Dan. Dan says, Harry, I love what you do. Is both star in the same universe as the Starbarians? Like I have any idea. Like I've given any thought to that. I don't know. Yes. How about yes? They are. It kind of works, right? Both got space and skeletons and things. Deadpan says, bruh, Joanna Quinn spoke at my uni for my animation course. Is that what Joanna Quinn does? Does she just roam around giving talks to students? She's got one of those names. She's got a posh name. Joanna Quinn. She's got a posh university name. I'm glad that you're well, for cancer. Alright, let's do more of this stupid shit. Let's colour the fur. I was merciful and I didn't put too much shading on him. I still put too much, but I didn't shade the fur. I let that just be unshaded. I'm starting to make tiny meaningless concessions as I get older and go like, oh, I don't need to have all of those in-betweens there. I don't quite need to have shading there. You know, there's no shading on the gun, for example. They're just highlights, and that's me, believe it or not, that's me thinking I'm making a meaningful difference to my life, to my quality of life, thinking if I just let myself off shading part of the gun, I'll be able to get off work slightly sooner and spend time with my loved ones. But ultimately it means nothing, and I have trapped myself into an art form and career that is getting me nowhere. But it is completely of my own choosing. I really like cartoons, and I like storytelling with this medium, and I like telling jokes with this medium. I think this year will be good. I think if we can just squeeze out some little animations to keep people happy, and I can just find the budget and time to finish some of the longer ones, that would be a very nice kind of, well, that would be lovely. I'd be very happy with that. Okay, it's got lots of little points on the furry trim here, so That's going to be kind of annoying to colour in. And I'm forgetting he's got some on his shoulder too, which just pops in, just appears out of nowhere there. Pops in. There we go. Cool. All right. Deadpan says, Harry, just so you know, you probably won't read this. Tomorrow is my last day of university for my animation course. I quoted you in my cover letter to get into the course. You quoted me. Did I say something nice about your work? If I did, I'm glad it helped, but I can't remember because I'm old. Because I'm old and enfeeble. Hello, Syed. Syed Labib. Let's see. Let's get some of this all filled in. And I'm ignoring the other shoulder, which I forget has fur on it. Oh, is that fur or is that hair? That's hair. Jeez. See, I drew this and I can't even keep track of it. Such a stupid, unfriendly design in terms of animation. It's not friendly to animation. It should have looked like Hogstrong and Kilgar should have looked like Hagar the Horrible or something. Should have just been just blobs with little helmets or something. That would have been easy to animate. Something that kind of looks like a Smurf. But I'll put all this stupid, goofy detail on them. Okay. Alright. Nearly done with the fur. No, actually I'm not even halfway, I don't think. There we go. Hey, hi Nick. Hogstrong, representative with emojis. It's pretty clever. Syed says, for your videos, do you do the music? Some videos I do, some I don't. I do the music for Dr. B's. For the ones where I'm singing, I usually do the music. Like I have to write the song, so I use music software. I use Reason, and I use Fruity Loop Studios with the East-West orchestral library. But Starbarians and Trilby Dogtooth have music by Brian Sadler, and Ghostbleed, and the Pokemon cartoon from beginning of last year that has music by Okoroid, who also did the music to this live stream. So yeah, I generally work with composers, I'd say, probably more often than not. I used to do a lot more music by myself, but I'm old, and I always feel like that's a good thing to outsource nowadays. I don't know what me being old has to do with it, but I suppose I just feel like it's good to collaborate with people in areas that you can, and I think music is an area that I can collaborate with people, and it's not a thing that I have to do myself particularly. And it gets great results. I mean, Okoroid and Brian Sadler are just phenomenal, both of them. Different kind of things that you get from each one, but they are so skilled at what they do. The music to Starbarians, I think, is perfect. The music to Ghostbleed and the Pokemon cartoon, perfect. Music to Trilby Dogtooth, again, Brian Sadler, perfect. They both do amazing work. The music that I made for Dr. B's, serviceable. Serviceable. And I didn't do the outro, the Dr. B's do 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 do. I didn't write that. That is some royalty-free music I got from some website. But I did the bam 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 dum 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 dum. What's this? A lackluster soundtrack? All that stuff is me using the East-West library, I think. Yes, it was. If you're into music and you like doing kind of orchestral stuff, the East-West libraries are the best I've ever heard. They sound, just the recordings of all the different orchestral instruments are really, really good, really high quality. Hello, Wary Sparrow. And Sabola Hat. Hey, Sabola. Sorry, man. I don't think I've said hello to you yet. Vandalman8 says, would you rather fight Nicolas Cage sized B or 100 B sized Nicolas Cages? I think I'd be fucked if I fought a giant bee. 100 tiny Nicolas Cages would be easy. What can they do? Are they armed? Basically, you're just fighting, you know, just tiny people. You just stamp on them or run away from them. Unless they have some kind of Ewok-type weapons that they've, you know, manufactured out of logs and twigs and things. I think it'd be much easier to fight lots of tiny Nicolas Cages than like a 6-foot-tall bee. 6-foot-tall bee would be very scary. I'm sure some science nerd will say things like, oh, a giant bee wouldn't be able to live, wouldn't be able to lift its own thorax or something like that. But I'm assuming that the giant bee is functional, so yeah, that would be terrifying. Mama didn't raise no giant bee fighter. Okay? I know better than to fight a 6-foot-tall bee. Bowser the Bun says, Harry, could you make themes for some of my characters? Not at the moment. Well, actually, I say not later on. Probably only at the moment. We could do Bowser created Force Girl. So we could have Force Girl flying through the sky. Force Girl, she's not a force guy. She'll punch you in the face. She won't spray you with mace because she's Force Girl. I think that's actually pretty good. Lyrics could do some work, but the rest of it's not too bad. So we could have a Force Girl theme there. Please send me 18 cents. Right. This isn't fun, is it? This animation stuff. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. I feel about calling this live stream "This shot was a mistake," because it is. Honestly, it's a mistake. I should have come up with something that didn't take as much drawing. Full body animation with the Starbarians characters is always miserable. It's kind of doable when they're, you know, their shoulders, you know, head and shoulders, or kind of like a medium shot where you don't see their legs. But when you got to animate everything, head, shoulders, legs, the whole body, it's completely ridiculous. It's way too much fucking drawing, especially if you're not doing, you know, super limited kind of animation on 3s and 4s. If you're doing it on 2s, it's just yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit of a grump tonight. And we're the Toon Grumps. Hey, Animated Taco. How you doing, Scott? What's the biggest creature you could kill without remorse? Okay, so not a question of strength. Question of remorse. Biggest creature you could kill without remorse. I mean, that's tough. What is, like, you know, could I press a button that sort of detonates a sperm whale? Without any remorse? I would have some remorse because I don't, you know, it wouldn't be particularly necessary. Yeah, that's a very tough question. It'd probably be a very evil person. I'd probably be okay with the death of an extremely evil tall person. How about that? Hey, tropical shirt wearing MF. This sounds like a fun process. Yeah, it is. Hey, Mr. D. Mark. Says, sup, it's been a while. I mean, maybe for you. I've been at it every day. This never ends. This hell of my own making. But it's alright, because I made it. It's of my own making, so that's good. Okay, what am I doing now? Let's do the hair. The hair is probably the most miserable part of the Starbarians because of all the little points. So we'll do the hair. As you can see, the hair has shading on it too. It's got multiple different colors. and the blue highlights. So yeah, this is gonna take some time, but that's fine. I can keep trying to be in the chat and be present in the chat as much as possible, and answer any queries you may have. Okay. Lisa, hey Lisa, how you doing? Lisa Nanny, you should check out Lisa. She does some cool art and cosplays. Lisa says, hello Harry, I heard you were drawing my cartoon Barbarian Husbando. Husbando, I don't know why I said it like that. Husbando, and decided to pop in to see. Yeah, Lisa, you've brightened up the place. Trust me, I was just being a sourpuss for the last couple of minutes because I don't like work. It's something about it. It feels all worky. I don't know. It's all work-like and tedious. A lot of colouring in to do, which is something that when the budget is there, I will be outsourcing ASAP because this stuff is it's not hugely creative. Put it that way. But yeah, we're working on a new Starbarians cartoon here that I am making a solemn Harry pledge. Imagine a flag, an American flag or something flapping while I say this in the background. I'm making a pledge. This cartoon will be out by May the 18th. Alright? What I will not pledge or promise is that the cartoon will have an impressive runtime. It won't. It will be very short. I mean, even, under 5 foot. That's how short I mean. It's going to be a very short cartoon, but it is going to be a cartoon. My mindset has changed lately. I think that something is better than nothing, and rather than disappearing for 6 months and coming back with a 5-minute cartoon, it might be better, both for the viewers and just, for my own work pipeline, to make a couple of 30-second or 1-minute cartoons sprinkled along the way, and then try and find, funding or pre-orders or something for a comic or something along the way that can help fund other bigger projects, because the pipeline of me funding my own long projects that are 10 minutes plus, it's not working out, which is a good reason to try something different. If it's not working what you're doing, don't give up, just try something a little different. So I'm planning to release a short Starbarians cartoon or 2 this year, which I think is not great. I personally love 15-20 minute cartoons. I'd love to be doing something in that kind of arena, but seeing as that would cost the cost of a house, that's about what the Hell of a Boss crew have to spend on all their assistants. It's about the cost of a house each time they do one of those cartoons. If you don't have access to that kind of funding and resources, then do something different. So that's what I'm cracking away on at the moment. All right, let me see what's going on in the chat. Kansas says, good man, I'm glad to hear. Well, hey, I mean, it's not ideal, but I just don't want to give up, I love doing this stuff, and I want to keep doing it, and rather than go, it's hard, it's too hard, and just, go and rot in a barrel somewhere, I think you just got to find a different way of doing it, a different way of struggling through, like a little, I was going to say some sort of analogy, like a little seed in the ground having to grow through cracks and stuff, but it's a visual analogy and it's a terrible thing to try and describe with words. I could draw it, but I'm doing enough drawing as is. Deadpan says, you should have pitched your shows to 2019 Netflix. No, I don't like corporations. I don't want to work for a big old corporation unless it's in a very small capacity and it takes not a lot of my time, like doing a little one-off or something. No, I'm not looking to pitch TV shows. That's not my thing particularly. But I appreciate your idea, Deadpan. Animated Taco says, I love to see you stick them on YouTube Shorts. See how you do. Yeah, I would do that, but I don't like the vertical format. I really like the wide screen format, and you can't do that with shorts in an easy way. I suppose I could flip them on the side and ask people to tilt their phone, but I don't think that would work because the phones have that sensor, you know, it can tell if it's flipped. So, that would be hard, right? If it kept on flipping the wrong way each time, trying to get it to be... no, these will just be uploaded as regular YouTube videos. And I may not do more than one. I may just do one and see how it goes. So it's kind of an experiment. Hey, Joel Mayer! Joel Mayer is a brilliant animator. Somebody I've actually worked with before. Joel Mayer helped me on animating Mip in Smiling Friends. There's an example of animating for a you know, technically it's part of a corporate produced animation, but it's Smiling Friends and it's really cool and it's made by people I really like, so you know, it doesn't count. But yeah, Joel was an animator that helped me out on MIP, and I think we had a good time doing that. It was a bit stressful, but I'm proud of what we did, and I love that show and I love those people, and it was just nice to be asked and nice to be involved, very much so. Let me just see, what does Joel say? The chat is sorry, it's busy. I should get to some of these things. Joel says, who has time to watch 15 to 20 minutes anyway? Yeah, true. It depends. Sometimes, you know, if I'm going to eat lunch or something, I would... 20 minutes is perfect. Maybe even 15 actually is better. I'd say something between 10 and 15 minutes is perfect for lunchtime. But when it comes to people who've been waiting for like 5 years, I don't think they want even 10 minutes. They'd get upset by. We were talking earlier about Zero and Monkey Wrench and the amazing work he's done on that, and how he was getting comments from people going, "Oh, finally another cartoon." And I think it had only been a matter of months since he made the last one. It was amazing productivity and amazing speed, and poor dude still had people giving him shit for it. So I'm just griping and saying basically most people don't understand how long animation takes, and that's okay. That's quite alright. Hey, William Smalley Jr. says hello. Hello, William. Lisa says indie studio animation can get pretty expensive the more your crew grows. Yeah, I mean, essentially, when you begin to make indie projects at the scale and the frequency of big, you know, network TV, you have to get network budgets. Otherwise, you're not going to be paying people enough. So, how do you get around it? That's the reality. Them's the rules. Can we not give him a pink torso? There we go. Joel says, I'm known for such memorable scenes like Mip putting a stick down. But it was a nicely animated Mip putting a stick down. Joel does lots of stuff on his own too, independently. You can check out Joel's work. I'm sure he's got links and things connected to his YouTube account. But yeah, sorry, Joel. Didn't mean to undersell you there. Dylan says you are 3D Squelton. Yes, I did a couple of voices in the first season, and I may be doing a voice in the second season. But I was 3D Squelton, who's just an ugly 3D thing that just sits there and cries. In Smiling Friends. Mitamak says, I keep wanting to get back into traditional animation, and then I think about coloring and go crawling back to my puppets. There's a funny image that of you having a bunch of like marionettes that you go and cry near, but I'm assuming you mean animation puppets. Yeah, coloring is actually a huge issue. It's not really a huge issue. That sounds dramatic. Coloring takes a lot of work, is what I'm trying to say. Coloring, and I think it's cleanup. Cleanup is the killer. Like, I can rough out, you know, a 10-second shot in a couple of hours, I feel, but then that cleanup is going to take me 3 days, 4 days. So it's tough, you know. It's the cleanup and the coloring, basically all the finishing, and that's the stuff that I think you can outsource, because there's, you know, you have to have skilled people doing cleanup and coloring, but once you've got the roughs down, there's a little bit less kind of interpretation and a little bit less for people to get wrong. But it's such a skilled job, it can still go horribly wrong if you give somebody a cleanup and coloring job and they're not skilled enough to get it right. It's going to be a nightmare, and you're going to have to start from scratch. So that's the stuff that, you know, I would love to be able to outsource. If I could just rough out animation, do the voices, rough out the animation, and give someone else the job of doing the backgrounds, that would be absolute bliss. But I think a shot like this, for example, of Hogstrong, you know, he's basically, what is it? It's about 20-30 drawings, probably not even that. It's a couple of seconds. I think probably cleanup and color, you would at least want to pay someone $200 for that. Probably more like $300, $400. That's what I should be doing, honestly. But my Patreon right now is not at the point where I can do too much of that each month. Maybe a shot or two, but it'll get there. It'll get better. I've totally forgot he's got that obnoxious little goatee beard. This little soul patch thing. Let me just fix that. For Kansas said, suggestion, have Starbarians visit a planet where the atmosphere makes everything black and white. Yeah, just the eyes. I mean, I've thought about that kind of thing before, coming at a project from the angle of whatever is easiest to animate. There's like some credibility to it. I mean, you could do that. Probably the easiest thing to animate would just be little kind of blob people. Sperm, actually. Sperm would probably be the easiest to animate, just a ball with eyes and a tail, no legs or arms or, you know, detail or anything. Just little white guys. Little white blob guys. If anyone wants to jump on the sperm cartoon idea and run with it, you could call it Life's a Ball or something. Life's some balls. Galaxia says, is the Starbarians comic going to include the other Kilgarians from Kilgar's Code? It does have a bunch of other Kilgarians. I shouldn't have said that, actually. That's a spoiler. Fuck. But yeah, no, it does have other Kilgarians in it, yes. The ones you see in Kilgar's Code aren't characters or anything. They're just generic other, you know, Kilgarians. But I might reuse their designs. That might be fun. Might save me some time. Coloring in the hair. Okay. All right. Joel Mayer said, I think going for a Xerox look is always a good excuse to speed up cleanup. Definitely. If you could design an animation project from scratch to be a little easier on the production. I mean, there's a lot you could do, but having a scratchy look where you didn't have to really make the cleanup super tight would be one way to do that. I think that I may say his name wrong. Tanico Pantoja. He's a great animator. If you look up Tanico animation, Toniko, you'll find some really beautiful stuff that he's done, and his cleanup isn't super like Disney tight, or you know, it's not 90s Disney tight. It looks more like the Xeroxed Disney stuff of the 70s and late 60s, and I think that probably is a good tool in his arsenal for him to be able to get more work out there. And it's a look that I think really works for him. I like tighter cleanup. I wish I didn't. I've basically screwed myself having that preference, but tell you what, I'm actually gonna shade that part of the hair when we come to color it later on. Oh man, you know what? I'm annoyed that I'm gonna do this, but I feel like the hair, I don't want it to flicker. I don't want areas of color that kind of come in and disappear again. Tends to lead to kind of a flickering issue. You know, if you have one or two frames where something isn't colored in correctly, it can kind of look bad. So I want to make sure that if there's a pink blob of hair under his chin there, that it stays as he tucks his arm in. So, oh boy. Okay, let's hit save, because we're dealing with Adobe Animate and it can be unpredictable. For Kansas said, doing the cleanup on the Ice Wraith on your Skyrim cartoon was like animating a sperm. Yeah, that Ice Wraith, I want to say we reused that. Didn't it like appear in one cartoon and then get reused in another one? I think some of those Skyrim cartoons were just horrible to finish. You know, like every hand on deck. One of them, I don't know which one it is. I kind of don't like them, so I don't really go back and watch them. But there's one that has a sort of a bit of kind of fake Castle Wolfenstein-esque 3D, and that wasn't intended. It was just a case of completely being out of time and resources and having to fill the length of the song, the little 2-minute song, just fill it with something, and ended up just putting in this stupid shot that kind of made it look like, I don't know, sort of looked kind of like one of the old video games. Oh, what is the head doing? Oh, I hate it. This is something that you get in Adobe Animate, you don't get in other programs. Oh, man. Just drag that. Alright, if its stuff is doing that and it won't stop, go to Shape, Smooth, and smoothing just tends to sort of, it just takes away some vector points, which tends to fix the problem. If you have areas that won't color in or are coloring in weirdly. That's Harry's little Adobe Animate tip of the day. Alright, let me see. Hey, Sven Holgerston! This is Hogstrong is my favorite. Well, thank you, Sven. I'm glad you like him. Special Fish Simon said, I thought he was the last living Kilgarian. Yeah, oh, well, you know, that might be an interesting thing to explore in a story. Is he or is he not? Joel Mayer says, I've been watching Disney's Robin Hood. Yes, that definitely had the stuff with the kind of Xerox look. Pyroraptor says, yes, Starbarians will be back. Pyroraptor, my friend, cool thing about having a web show that you only make one episode of every 9 years is that it's technically never cancelled. It'll never be gone completely. When I die, I guess, it'll be completely not coming back. But it's always planned that I'll do more. It's just a case of, you know, it's time and money and it just taken forever. Okay, alright. I have been a grumpy grumbo today. I'm sorry, everyone. I try and be in good spirits, but it's my fault, I think, for starting a live stream at 7 p.m, which is, that's tea time. I should be having my dinner, but other stuff is happening tonight, so I had some time free by myself, and I thought it'd be good to do a live stream and get this shot. If we can get this shot finished, what time is it? I've only been going for an hour and 12 minutes. I've really got to get this guy colored and finished tonight. That was the goal of the stream. So if I have to run for 3 hours, I will do that. Hey, Becca Carmine says, Noodle recently put out a video about how he made an animated short earlier in the year, and a good half of it was spent backhanding Adobe Animate. I don't know who Noodle is. You'll have to tell me. Axma says, was that video with the crude 3D model titled BJ Blazkowicz and Wolfensteiniacs? No, I was talking about a Skyrim thing that I did. Hey, Pyroraptor says, I love your content. Well, thank you, Pyro. Appreciate it. That's great. That's great. Because it's not really content, is it? Unfortunately, content is something you can sit down and turn the TV on, and it's there for the next 30 minutes. A YouTube channel that uploads approximately 6 minutes of content a year. I don't know if it's still content, because it's like, I don't know. There's not enough stuff there. But you know, the plan is to make more. The plan is always to make more. That's why sometimes people say, "Hey, Harry, you know, what do you do when you have animator's block or whatever, or writer's block or idea block?" And the reason that I've never had that is because, let's say I get an idea, I have to go, well, that'll take too long to make, and I can't afford to do it, so I'll put that aside. And I have another idea, and I go, that'll take too long. And I get another idea, and I go, that might be doable. And then as I'm doing it, it takes me 3 years to do. And while I'm doing it, I start having 20 more ideas every month, the things I want to do. So it's the production of these things causes a bottleneck where they take so long to do. As I'm doing them, I'm having 1,000 more ideas while I'm doing them, and all of these ideas essentially have to get put aside to make way for other things. It's becoming like a bad meme now, where I tell Joyce ideas that I have, like, oh, that would be funny in a Starbarians cartoon, or that would be funny in a Dogtooth cartoon, and the poor suffering Joyce just has to go, yep, maybe one day you'll do that. And now I have to preface it with, well, I'll probably never do it, but what would be good is, and then I can talk about my idea in a way that I don't feel ridiculous speaking about it out loud. Because that's the bottleneck of trying to make stuff really, really independently. And I'm sure even people that, make full TV shows with full budgets have tons of ideas that they can't get to. So the writer's block thing, not really an issue. Although within a project, like, you can have a really great idea, say for the opening of a cartoon, and then you might get stuck on the ending or the middle or something like that. And that's sort of like a mini writer's block where you're kind of, parts of the project hold you up. And my solution is just to make it bad. It's better that it's bad. It's better that it's bad and finished, I suppose, than really, really great and not finished. Or never finished, I should say. Alright, I've waffled for plenty of time. Hey, Cool Cat. Cool Cat says Starbarians is my favorite animation on YouTube. Shout out to Joe Cartoon. Good old Joe Cartoon. Joe Cartoon was doing it way back in the day. But yeah, I used to be a fan of Joe Cartoon. Back on Newgrounds in probably the very, very beginning of the 2000s, like 2001, 2002. Maybe even earlier than that, actually. I forget when I first made I made 2 Newgrounds accounts. I had the Happy Harry one was not the first one. There was one before it, which was probably made maybe even in 99. Axma says Harry didn't get the joke. I'm sorry. Grandma missed the joke. William Smalley said, I'm still a rookie indie animator, but it takes some time to make a good 2D animation. It certainly does. It's a very labor-intensive process. Sabola Hat says the 70s sketchy look Disney films are underrated. Christian Vanigas says, do you want to hire someone for your animation work? Yes. That is never the issue. I love hiring people and working with people. The issue is money and paying them, because you have to pay artists. And my Patreon right now takes care of me and my bills, but it doesn't take care of a team of people. So it's finding the money to pay the people. It's not a question of, I'm not against hiring people. If I had it my way, I would have a slave galleon. No, I'd have, like 50 people or something doing color and character designs and in-betweens and all that good stuff. Doing all the cleanup. That'd be amazing. But then 50 times 1 monthly wage, you're looking at having to buy a house every month, basically. And it's tough to make cartoons that are given away for free profitable. Even the ad revenue from like a Hell of a Boss, that wouldn't sustain. Even if you get 8 million views, that's not going to sustain the production of a cartoon like that on a regular basis. I don't think, anyway. You're going to have to sell merchandise, which is a whole big ball game to get into, and probably get fan support. So it's a combination of fan support, merchandise, and ad revenue, I think, to support really animating regular kind of content in a way that feels like it's competitive with TV or big streaming services. And so you got to make something that people really want to see and will pull in, viewers by the millions. I think it's tough, unfortunately, to kind of sustain anything like that unless you're getting a few million views per pop. All right, that's the end of his basic hair color. Thank the Lord. All right, so he's got this blue streak, which we'll do now. That shouldn't take anywhere near as long, and then we'll do the shading on the hair, and that'll be the hardest parts over. The face is going to be a bit fiddly because it has a lot of details, but we're getting there. I'd say maybe once I've done all of the hair, maybe we'll be getting on for like halfway there. Maybe just under halfway. Let me see who is saying what in the chat. Hello, Greg. Greg says he should have a half shrimp brother named Krilgar. Thank you, Greg. It's a good idea. Nulval says, whenever Harry mentions money, I keep hearing the attorney from Tom and Jerry movie going, what we need is money. That is what I need. That's actually a clip of me. That was just me back in 1993 when I was 5 years old. They filmed me as a 5-year-old talking about money. Davey says, I remember my brother showing me Joe Cartoon back in 1990. Yeah, Joe Cartoon has been going for a long time. Good old Joe. Cool Cat says, is there shopping the idea around to streaming services? That stuff is a bit unnerving to me, I think, because I think I'd like to make something a success in its own right before trying to sell it to a streaming service, because the idea of them taking control is a little spooky to me. I don't know, I must sound like such an artsy hippie, but I would like to make something that isn't... Why can't this bit is not being coloured in? What is going on? Hang on. This thing is screwing me up. Yeah, basically I would like to keep control. So I think that if you can make it with fan support and not go through a streaming service, that would be ideal, basically. Syed says, why not make a short that capitalizes on the vertical screen? It's not something that I like from a creative standpoint. I don't like presenting images with that kind of vertical format. But also, there's really no money in it. There's no ad revenue right now in YouTube Shorts. There probably will be down the line. But I've seen friends of mine get millions of views on the YouTube Short. And the ad revenue from it is, you're looking at less than $100. It's not going to fund doing those kind of things regularly. It's good for getting it out there. But I don't know. I think that YouTube is still great in general. You don't have to use the Shorts format. You can still do the kind of old-fashioned YouTube videos, which I much prefer. I don't know. It's because I'm not into the TikTok thing. I don't really use my phone. I don't sit on my phone and look at tons of lots of short videos. I pretty much just I don't know. I like to take something in either when I'm sat down, like over lunch or dinner, or just, I like to kind of take a little bit of time to do it. Even if it's 45 seconds or something, I want to actually sit and watch it and give my attention. I tend not to take in any kind of content on the go or through my phone. Probably because I'm an old grandma, which we've already established that I'm 98 years old, and that's just not a thing that I ever really got used to doing. Joel Mayer says, it's totally fine to make something outside of the TV quality animation. Oftentimes that stuff turns out to be inventive and interesting. Yeah, I know you're right, Joel. You're talking sense. It's funny for me is that... Actually, I don't have a good defense. I don't have a good reason for why I don't do more stuff that looks really, really rough. I think that obviously it would have to be... I think that what it is for me is I'd want to couch it within releases of work that looks high quality. So my worry is that there would be, if people haven't seen anything from me for 6 months and then they come back, I come back with something that looks like South Park, they're gonna think that I've just dropped off. I've deliberately made something super crude, or just been lazy. But it does appeal to me. The idea with Dr. Bees is that would kind of be a way that I could tell stories that make me laugh, that are all about the comedy and not the visuals. But the sad thing is that the Dr. Bees production really creeped up and became something that was just as much work as Starbarians. There's a scene at the end of Dr. Bees 4 that is fully animated. It's about 1.5 minutes and it's fully done. It's really funny. But it took over a month, it was just as much work as this short I'm doing right now. And it's got movements on ones, and it's got these kind of complicated character designs. It's got 4 or 5 characters in a scene talking. It's just it's a shame it really turned it. So I've got to like actually make a real calculated decision to make something, if it's going to be animation, that doesn't turn into being a production headache. Creating a style that's really simplistic and deliberately something that can be turned around quickly. All right, let me see. Bowser says Zerel tried TikTok and all of the cartoons were flagged the next day. Yeah, I saw that. Do you know why that actually happened? I have no idea why his work would be flagged, unless it was like a false ID thing where they thought that it wasn't him that had done the originals. Because I mean, his stuff isn't offensive or it's not pornographic. It's not anything. It's not anything. I don't mean it's great, but it's not. There's nothing that I can see that would identify it as being flag worthy. I don't remember him using like bad language or anything that would make it, I think, worth flagging. Hey, thank you to King N641994 for the $10 super chat. You didn't need to do that, King. My king, but thank you. King says, here's 10 US quid, mate. You wonderful old grandma. You wonderful decrepit old withered old crone, Harry. Keep on animating. Don't feel too discouraged. Everything takes time. I don't feel too discouraged. I never do. Look, the fact is, I've made my stinky little bed and I'm going to lay in it. Alright? I'm never going to stop making cartoons. They just take forever. And that means I have plenty of time to moan in between uploads about how long it all takes. But no, I'm never going to stop. I love filmmaking, man. I like cartoons and comics and films, live action films, animated films. I like the idea of telling stories and jokes with funny little men on a screen. That tickles me. Putting some funny little fellas on the TV. Like magic, like black magic. These funny little people that dance around in hats. Who wouldn't want to do that for a living? It's much better than, saving lives or planting trees. Alright, so I'm nearly done with his goofy blue hair. Oh boy. Nearly there. Nearly there. Okay. Alright, let's hit save. Saving away. Bowser says, I think he got flagged for spam. Yeah, maybe, if he uploaded them all on the same day. What a shame, though. I mean, he could still try it and just do it slowly. Video at a time, maybe. Novel said, hey, Harry, if you're looking for 2D animation that's cheap and fast... I knew that was going to be silly. May I suggest Microsoft PowerPoint? I haven't... Is PowerPoint still around? I think I used it once or twice when I was back at school, but... Novel says, by the way, where's the Streamlabs link? So Streamlabs, I've stopped using Streamlabs for the time being because it dumped into my PayPal account, and you don't need to hear all this. This is just boring stuff. But PayPal is now freezing funds beyond a certain amount. It's like you have to verify yourself, and I don't want to do it. I just feel like, what's the point? It's no different than doing it through Super Chats and having it take a month, 21 days versus a month. I'll just turn the super chats back on. It's probably less effort for people if they want to donate. But also, if you want to donate, first of all, you don't have to. And second of all, if you do want to, you can do it on Patreon and you get some extra little videos and little bits and pieces here and there and join the Discord. So rather than just throw me $10 for nothing, essentially, you could give $2 a month for the next 5 months on Patreon, and then the Discord actually is at the $10 level, but you can get some extra videos doing it that way. $2 a month. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's particularly worthwhile either, because as you can see, making anything takes me a long time. So making exclusive content obviously can't even be a priority at the time. being. So, all right, let's do the shading now on the pink for the hair. This little model here that I'm referencing, I don't like that. That pink is way too red, too salmony. That might be a bit better. Can we do something like this? Let's take a look. Yeah, that's better for the hair. Okay, so I just needed a dark pink for the hair. And we've got that now, which is good. Yeah. This shouldn't take too long. The hair is not really in shadow for the most part. It should be there because it's kind of under his arm, but I sort of lazily... I was a bit fast and loose with the shading on this shot. I didn't quite shade everything. I was trying to be economic, but it's still taking forever. All right, there we go. Let's put that in there. Shading there. Okay, I think this now is where a little bit more of that deep pink comes in with the shading, because his arm moves around. Oh, okay. Let's put that in shadow, that bit of hair there. And that bit there. I should zoom out because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so that hair back there is going to be in shadow. And there. Alright. Alright, sorry, I'm ignoring the chat a little bit. Let me come back and say hello. Yo. Let me fix this scrappy coloring here. That's terrible. Alright, let me say hello. Joke's on you, I did both. Yeah, well, I know you did. I know you did, King. NT Hackman said, with Blender getting more 2D support, do you think you'll utilize it in the future? Yeah, I would like to do more Blender actually, but for backgrounds. I liked the workflow of having a 3D background for Dogtooth, that half the backgrounds in that cartoon are touched up 3D, which was a 3D model that I kind of would, use for say about 80% of the image, and then little bits of shading and highlight I'd sort of draw on separately. But I really liked that. This cartoon doesn't have it. It has traditional backgrounds, because I think that if you only see the background once or twice, or maybe say 3 times, a lady, if you see a background 3 times, it's probably not worth it being a model. But if it's a long, drawn-out scene, and you see a background again and again and again, you could probably justify building it as a 3D model and doing it that way. And I know you're talking more about animation and not backgrounds, but that to me, I really like... I still think I like working in Toon Boom and Flash for characters, but I can see definitely the appeal of Blender. I just feel like I'm so used to the workflow that I have. The only sort of way that I think I'd include more 3D is in the backgrounds. Okay, so that's great. That's the hair done. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, so I'm gonna try and do something easy now. The gray undersuit in between the armor is not going to be shaded. It's so dark, I don't think it needs it. And honestly, I've shaded enough as is, so I'm going to go in and do that now. And let me see, I've been ignoring the chat, something terrible. So let me see. Sabola Hat says, it's funny you mentioned planting trees. I'm planting 2 shrubberies as we speak. Hey, that's great, Sabola Hat. Yeah, I was being completely facetious. I think that planting trees is great. Bowser likes the funny little guys thing. That's my dream, putting a funny little guy on a screen and making you watch him do stuff. Bet Carmine says, if CS Paint goes the way of Adobe, I'll probably give Blender 2D a shot. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but do you mean with monthly payments? I think they may have made that switch already. Hey, Shucharu! Everyone, Shucharu is a great animator. Shucharu, you are in the chat, and you are a great animator, and you've just said, Harry, what would you ask James Baxter if you could? I don't really have any. Honestly, I don't know. How you doing, James? Can I get you a coffee? I can't really think of anything I particularly want to know. Because if I said, James, you know, James, Mr. Baxter, how do you draw, or how do you do this, or what's your answer to this, what's a creative solution to this? You probably tell me that I had to go away and practice, and I kind of, you know, I already know that. I already know that to get better at something, you got to practice and work hard. So I just feel bad. I'd ask him stuff, and he'd tell me that I had to go and get good, basically. So I don't know. I don't think I'd ask him anything technically. I'd ask him if he wanted to do some free coloring in for me. I'd say, Mr. James Baxter of Disney fame, would you like to do some color fills on Adobe Animate for me? And he'd say, I can't. I have to finish my new cartoon, Halo in real life. And I'd say, all right, James, you get back and finish Halo in real life. I'll talk to you soon. And he'd send me an emoji. Hey, Dylan says I'm making the Toonies short. Dylan, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Sorry, Dylan. I need to keep up with what you're talking about. I'm not too familiar with your own cartoons, I'm afraid. Jacob says uncolored Hogstrong in front of a blue screen makes him look naked. I mean, under his clothes, he is naked. If you think about it. Okay. Let's. Oh, I thought this would be easier, coloring in the little, the sort of under shirt or whatever it is, some sort of jumpsuit basically that they're wearing. Damn, I keep drawing on the wrong layer. There we go. There we go. Oh man. Okay. Hey Magma Muncher, thank you very much for the super chat. Always a pleasure to have you around. Take care, Magma. William Smalley said, one of my art styles that I do is a classic Looney Tunes and G.I. Joe Real American Hero. Do you combine those two together? Because that would make for a fun combination. Let me see. Okay, hand. Oh, I just keep accidentally coloring that knuckle in. There we go. And there we have it. All right. Kansas said, Harry, what would you ask? What would you ask Harry from 1 minute in the past, if you could? I would ask him to go and get me a glass of water. I think so. I'm getting a little bit parched. All this good chatting, all this good conversation. Let me see. Let's try and make it through one or two more areas of color, and then maybe I'll take a quick bathroom break. But I mean, I'll be honest with you all. This is not a fun thing to witness. You know, coloring in all this sort of frame by frame animation in general. I think that roughing out motion, doing stuff really quickly, as quick as it can be done, could probably be sort of fun. You get to see a lot of creative decisions being made. But I wouldn't want to listen to somebody do color fills for 3 hours. It's a miserable way of spending your Sunday. So appreciate you all for being here, and I hope you're doing something worthwhile while listening to this bloody rubbish. Sabola Hat said, cool combo, William. It is a cool combo. Terranium said, I was hanging around with a friend, so I probably missed most of the stream. Terranium, we're not even halfway done, I don't think. Maybe just about halfway, but I'm going to be here for a while. I am losing steam, though. Well, not really losing steam. It's, I don't know. I just feel it's sort of like, it's not much of an act, you know? In a kind of, if I imagine I'm on stage or something and it's vaudeville, you know, the tap dancers just come off, the comedian's gonna go on after me, and it's like, alright Harry, what are you gonna do on your live stream? Moan for 3 hours and do some colour fills? I'm sorry it's not more entertaining. Alright. Tranium said get some coffee. No, it's gonna be 9 p.m. here soon. I think I've had my coffee for the day. I would like to sleep tonight, so I think coffee after 7 p.m. is probably not a very good decision. Hey, Joel Mayer. Joel said, it's not that it's uninteresting, but man, it's painful to watch. Animate's fill tools are worse than I remembered. I think that it's partly my line art, you know. My line art has a lot of gaps in it, because I try and animate quickly. I figure that it's a good sacrifice to animate quickly, or sorry, clean up quickly, but leave little gaps. And then fix it, you know, in coloring, rather than zoom in constantly while doing cleanup and, you know, endlessly go in and close all those gaps so that coloring will be easier. And even if I wasn't having to deal with gaps, you know, and little issues like that, the fact is that these characters just have a ton of colors on them. They're not animation friendly, particularly. They're pretty burdensome to do. Although this is the characters. This is like a full body shot where you see everything, and I gotta make some good. I gotta make some smart decisions when it comes to framing shots, because you don't always need to see the full body of the character. I think that I should probably take, you know, full body animation. I should probably be for more static shots or short moments or something, quick moments maybe. Moving a character, their entire body, and also moving them kind of slowly and methodically, like, you know, he's sort of creeping around here with his eyes closed. It's just a lot of drawing, a lot of animation. But I think we'll get it done tonight. I will. I don't know if anyone will be left by the time I'm finished, but I think it'll be all wrapped up. And there we go. I've got to color this little area in. I am intrigued by the software Cadmium, which is an animation coloring program. It'd be nice to see that in action. I've seen some people have been using it, but I haven't really gotten the grips with it yet. If that's something that anybody involved on the Discord or anybody that's sort of available on Twitter, if it's something that you've used, Cadmium, it's called. It's for kind of automating animation coloring. If you've used that before and have good results and want to show off a video, hit me up, because I would be kind of curious to see how that would turn out. Bowser says I drink coffee at 9 p.m. Do you stay up late? Because I think that would keep me up all night. The Adonis said, "Now, bro, it's good company while I do boring animation as well." It's just a lot of downtime being an animator. It's not downtime as much as just sort of labor, you know, that sort of, I don't know, that monotony comes in. Jay Smith says, "Hey, Grassman shirts have been out of production for a while." Yeah. I didn't actually know, back when we briefly did shirts through Shark Robot, I thought they were a print-on-demand company, and that they would be able to print those, you know, potentially forever. So I spent time making a nice fancy animated commercial for the shirts and the pins and things, but I didn't realize they don't make things, you know, in perpetuity. They make things for a period of time. But the advantage to that is that the quality is much higher. They can actually go and make really high quality products. So I hope that we can collaborate again on something like that. And for sure, I'd push it with a commercial, but I wouldn't be in the mindset that it would be available for eternity. I do have a Teespring store, which I do link to on my main YouTube channel under the videos themselves if you want to buy a shirt. But I'll be honest, I don't think the Teespring quality is that great. They're a place that'll print on demand, you know, much like what I thought Shark Robot was doing originally. And the quality, it's not amazing quality, and more importantly than that, to me the colors don't quite work. There's I did a shirt called it's called Hogstrong 1987, and it's kind of like a fun 80s summery Hogstrong design of him kind of wearing like a varsity jacket. And I thought, you know, kind of like a Mickey Mouse shirt you might see from the early 90s. And I bought one because I wanted it. I thought, oh, that's a cool design. I'm designing it and I like it and I want one of these shirts. And I bought one and it arrived, and the purple of the shirt was way darker than advertised, to the point that the design didn't really work anymore. It was designed for lighter shirts, and you can pick the color of shirts that you're selling through the store, and I deliberately only picked lighter shades. And yeah, I was grumpy that they sold me a dark purple shirt you can barely see the design through, because that's not kind of what you get in the previews. That may be the European distribution, and I'm sure it's probably a little bit hit and miss. You probably get sometimes it looks exactly like what you order, especially if you're in the States. But I think they have two fulfillment centers. They have one in Europe and one in the States, and I got the European fulfillment center, and they sent me a shirt that was too dark. Anyway, it was my great epic poem that I wrote about my Teespring order. Joel Mayer said, my wife never saw any of your cartoons, but she loves your t-shirts. She pretty much stole them from me. Hey Joel, I didn't know you bought t-shirts, man. Dude, you're very generous. You're going above and beyond in supporting me. But I'm curious which ones you bought and if they actually looked anything like what they are advertised as being. Because like I say, I was a little bit turned off with the color disparity between the preview and the actual item on one of them. Alright, let me have another swig of drink. Bowser said, I try to stay up late. The thought of staying up late working on my projects is intriguing, but my brain says 10 p.m. lights out. I think that you have to kind of be realistic about your body and sleep. And I, as a younger man, I romanticized the idea of staying up all night, but then I just sleep in all day. You know, I'd stay up until 4 a.m. You know, I'd stay up 5 hours past when I should have been going to bed. And then I sleep in 5 hours past when I should have been getting up. And I find out that the work I do when I've just woken up is of a higher quality than the work that I do while half asleep late at night. So it just makes sense to get up early. So yeah, like I said, I started working on this shot yesterday. I had to go out for a lot of today, but I started working on this at about 6 a.m. yesterday. Or at least that's when I set my alarm for. And I feel like that's more, I don't know, it's more cool, it's brutal. It's like, yeah, I gotta get up at the crack of dawn like a lumberjack. Let's go and draw some in-betweens. I feel like that's even more badass than doing the kind of student thing of staying up all night. Although I occasionally, for deadlines, I will do that. I was awake for nearly 48 hours animating on MIP. Something like a third of the shots were still not done, and we were... the deadline, the deadest of deadlines was coming up because we'd already had an extension for 2 weeks, so I really couldn't fudge it anymore, and I did about 20 shots, I think, basically by myself in the last 48 hours, which was cool. You know, I should do that more often and actually get stuff done. I feel like I talk about that story every time I stream. Not having enough adventure in my life, if that's one of the big anecdotes. Joel said the t-shirts, hang on, I remember the Christmas sweater basically was gone after washing it twice. That's a shame. But the t-shirts so far have been quite good. I think it's the yellow blue Kilgore one. Yeah, I don't have that shirt. I should get that one. The Kilgore one is pretty cool. I think the design is neat. Oh yeah, and the Dr. Bees one has a very simple pattern. That should hold up well. Pyroraptor said, have you done drawing/animation recommendations and requests? I have done drawing requests, and I have done drawing characters from memory. I've done those, some of the prior streams were that. I'll be honest, you know, doing that is more of a, like a money maker. If I want, you know, people to donate, that would be a way of sort of prompting them to donate. If the money is there and I'm not needing to make extra moolah, my main ambition really is to just get cartoons made and not worry about trying to be a fun streamer. I kind of have a feeling that just streaming is not a thing I'm going to ever really get into beyond the odd kind of dabble here and there, because it doesn't... Streaming, I think you need something that generates fun for people to look at. I think a game is a great thing to stream. I think the reactions, you know, to other content are fun to stream. But to stream animation, I think it's a bit of a... It's kind of a non-starter, you know? It's just too slow. Nothing happens. In a 3-hour stream, we'll have colored 3 seconds of animation, maybe. Ah, boy. All right, let's get that hand in there. Dylan says, oh, sorry, Dylan. Dylan, you're summarizing your cartoons. Somebody else maybe can give me a good summary. If you can summarize a summary. Jesse Labrie, hey Jesse. Jesse said, oh, I feel that, man. I'm planning on passing through the States later this summer. I too lack adventure in my life. I mean, if you're doing an office type job, and you're working long hours to make ends meet, you know, it's something that's just very universal at the moment for a lot of people. I think that I have a very cool job. I'm very, very happy that I get to do this for a living, but it's not hugely thrilling. That's okay. But it's one of the reasons actually I really liked working on Ghostbleed on the live action stuff. The live action is a very different beast, and it's stressful in a whole new way, because it's all, you know, you all kind of orient around the shoot date, and then it becomes, oh my god, you know, are the costumes done, are the props done? Because you can't turn up and film if you don't have all that stuff ready. It all has to be kind of done in advance. And then once you've filmed it, you know, the editing does take time, and, you know, VFX and stuff take time, but it sort of becomes a little bit more fun after all that pressure and stress. It's kind of front-loaded. It's very different to doing, you know, animation, where it's just work the whole time. So I would love to do more live action, and I do plan to do more live action this year, but it has to be tied to animation somehow, because if it's funded through my Patreon, it really needs to be because of the animation. So I have a cool project that I'd like to do later this year that is maybe a little bit of both. Maybe a bit of animation and a bit of live action in tandem. It's nice to meet people and, you know, just be physically moving around, not just tied to a desk. Because I put on about 20 pounds since we filmed Ghostbleed 6 months ago. Because literally the day we were filming, I came home after the shoot. It was probably back at 10 or 11 at night. And I just ordered Domino's. I was like, great, I don't have to worry about being on camera. Domino's time. Ordered a big old pizza. And only now am I starting to really fast again and get back in the gym and get serious. Because, oh man, you rest on that stuff and it creeps up on you very quickly. It's very easy for me to pack on some weight because I love eating bread. Love the bread and the carbohydrates. It's a lot of fun. Novel said Ghostbleed was so good, man. I'm glad, dude. It was fun to make, fun to work with, a different flow, a different way of making something, different people, and I just, you know, that's why I don't have writer's block. I have an idea. I didn't even have an idea for Ghostbleed. All that we really had was a method of making something. I was talking to Hula P about doing something that looked like a PS1 game, and that's what he specialized in. It's something that I'd always wanted to do because I love the PS1. And I thought, well, damn, I guess, you know, I like Resident Evil, and it wanted to do a Resident Evil parody of some kind, but not, you know, I didn't want to literally make it Resident Evil. I didn't want to make Jill sandwich jokes. So I thought, well, what can I do that's kind of like Resident Evil? And I had zero ideas, and I literally just started writing dialogue, just bad dialogue that made me laugh and made me smile. And eventually that dialogue had to go in some kind of direction, and you start thinking, well, why are they having this conversation? What's the situation that's prompting all this? And then the story kind of grows around that, and it's not much of a story. It's like a little goofy little parody of Resident Evil, but it was very easy to write because it just the dialogue came first. So Special Fish Simon said, have you ever considered doing a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque live? Maybe. Maybe. I think I've already hinted that today. King says, what's your thoughts on rotoscope? It's an interesting look. It's not really for me, because the whole point of animation is you're characterizing and stylizing movement. It's not literally taking exact human movement, which is kind of what rotoscope is doing. So, I mean, we kind of rotoscoped in Ghostbleed, but that's because it wasn't about making a stylized... Basically, we had to, you know, Pulapi was trying to do 8 minutes or so of animation in like 2 months. So that was really the only way it could be done, and that wasn't part of the joke that the movement was stylized or caricatured particularly. That wasn't something that we were, you know, necessarily trying to do. We talked about it. We could have made it more basic, but then it would have been all keyframed and taken a lot longer. I don't mind rotoscope, but it's not a look that I would prefer over hand-done, you know, handmade animation. I need to pick a new color to do. Let's do white. No, let's do yellow for the eye. And let me see. Oren's Odyssey. I've not said hello to Oren yet. Oren said, have you ever just said screw this and dropped everything and headed off into the wild on adventures? No. Sorry, Oren. Could be fun, though. Bowser said, I did that for 7 years, Harry. It wears thin, traveling around the country. Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't mean travel and toil. I just mean, basically, variety and, you know, movement. It's, it still would be in service, I hope, of projects that I appreciate and want to work on. So I think that's why live action is such a great break from animation. If I can find the time and the resources to do it, makes a nice change. No, I'm not saying that I want to become a crab fisherman in Alaska. That's too hard. So he's got his yellow eye makeup on. I should have created the color separations earlier. I didn't. I knew it would be something that it gets so fiddly, and I was getting impatient. I wanted to move on to colors and get the stream set up. So we're doing this now. He basically has eyeshadow, which is it's so weird. I don't know what I was really thinking with their designs, but the whole thing is kind of like a parody or a reference to, you know, 80s glam metal and kind of bands like Poison and Kiss and that kind of thing. Alright. Terranium said, have you thought of doing cartoons in different styles like the Pokemon parody? Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that earlier. I think I'd like to do some more efficient styles. I don't really, you know, it would be tough. The whole point with Dr. Bees is that he doesn't move very much. He's detailed. He's kind of well drawn and detailed, but he doesn't really move very much. And I thought that would save me time. But some of the stuff on Dr. Bees Forever has proven to be really, really tricky, actually, and take longer than I thought it would. So I think it may just be that rather than try to go with detailed characters that hardly ever move, if you want to save time, it may just be better to go to with characters that are very efficient in terms of their sort of economic design. You know, very few lines, very few colors. I don't think I quite have it in me to do, say, Stickman, but something that is closer to a Stickman than Hogstrong with his 8 billion different colors. Alright, let's put that yellow in there. We can do the white afterwards, because then we can do his teeth at the same time. And then the pale blue, which would be the snout and the inner ear. And then maybe move on to the skin, and then it's just... Okay, so I don't know why I'm swatching white. Shouldn't need to do that, but let's go in and I'll just save and make sure I'm getting back to the chat. Davy88 said the comic is put on hold until this thing is out this month. The comic... Okay, so the comic really isn't on hold as much as the plan with the comic was always to do it after it became available to pre-order. So it was always going to be on hold until the pre-order came out. The idea is that the pre-order, setting that up and allowing people to do a pre-order, that is the thing that's really on hold, because I don't think it's fair to ask people to buy something when they haven't seen these characters for years. You know, I think these characters need to come back in some form and entertain people again, and then maybe they'll be more interested in buying a comic. The comic is partly made. You know, I've done a big chunk of it. It's got a cover. I'm starting to get a good idea of how long it'll take, which is probably about another 6 months, really, of really long work. It's a big comic. It's 80 pages, like Terranium says. So yeah, I may still do more of it. Well, actually, no, I will do more of it before the pre-order drops. But the plan was always to kind of allow the pre-order to come first and then finish the comic. Because if only 1,000 people order it, it's, you know, it's not really going to be worth doing. It's a very untested thing. But I'm hoping that that'll drop this year, the pre-order, and pay for some cartoons. That would be great. Hey, Harry Ashfield, how you doing, Harry? You've missed nothing, my friend. Absolutely nothing. It's just been I'm trying to do maths here. That was a mistake. 2 hours. 2 hours of just drawing and moping, or not even drawing, coloring in and moping. But I think we should be done at the 3 hour mark. That's what I'm predicting would be satisfactory if we could be done at 3 hours in. Davy88 said, will there be a hardcover? That is the plan. The plan is to allow people to order a hardcover or a softcover version. I thought maybe it'd be cool to do it in different sizes, and then I was told that would cost a lot of money because you have to basically print it twice. But if you have a hardcover and a softcover, you only have to print one size of pages, and only the cover would be different. So yeah, it makes sense to do it that way. But yeah, I'd like to offer a hardcover and softcover on the comic. Geranium says he wants to do a hardcover. He doesn't know how to go about doing it. I never said that. I know exactly how to go about doing it. Geranium, trying to read my mind. Maybe I said I don't know exactly. Or maybe I did say I don't know how. But it's more a case of it wouldn't be handled by me. It'd be handled by other people. But I know they could do it. They could do it very, very well. It's a case of the campaign needs to be set up, and that won't be for a while yet. So until the campaign is really ready to go, we're not going to investigate all those little details. Joe Dudit, hey Joe Dudit. Joe Dudit said, I like how the Starbarians are such morally grey characters, with Hogstrong being the better of the two. Yeah, I mean that's more of a product of me not making enough stories yet. Hogstrong is not supposed to be. Initially, I thought he was just going to be as big of a jerk as Kilgar, and I thought that was funny. And then over a period of time, I sort of decided to change that. But because every cartoon takes 28 years to make, I've not done, I'm not told enough of those stories yet for that to really click with people, I think. Snout. Let's do the snout now. And in fact, I'm going to change that. I think it's time to change the background color to something that's going to be a little easier for me to see. Let's make it a nice salmony pink, and that'll make it easy for me to do the blue and the grey for the armor and the skin. William said, even though I'm American, my sister and I love the Poddington peas. I hate the Poddington peas. I actually have a VHS tape of it. It's for kids. Man, what have I mentioned that on stream before? The Poddington? I must have, because that's too much of a coincidence to bring up the Poddington peas. I tell you, the Poddington peas are still better than the Fruities. Look up the Fruities intro. That's one of the most unbearable cartoon intros ever. It's 2.5 minutes long, which is, I think a minute is pushing it, but like 2.5 minutes almost. It's like 2 minutes 18 or something. 2 minutes and 20. And the song, it's in English, but you can barely make out what the fuck the lyrics are. We are black and we are green. We are red and yellow. Look up the Fruities. It's I remember being home from school one day, watching the Fruities on TV, and falling in and out of sleep several times during the intro, and thinking, or maybe it was the outro. It's like the intro is really long. Maybe the outro is even longer. But I remember I was sick and I fell asleep and then woke up and then fell asleep and woke up again, and the intro still wasn't done, and I felt like I was trapped in some weird dimension. Jesse said, "Hey Harry, if it was brought up, did you consider doing a black and white version of the comic?" No, I have not considered that, Jesse. I mean, my intention was always to do it colored. So, if it was pitched to me by somebody in the know as a thing that would be smart to do, I just feel like the artwork doesn't stand up well enough in black and white. I think some of the details get lost, because manga, is designed for black and white. But, they have lots of kind of tones and shading and stuff, and if I don't do that, if I don't separate characters from backgrounds well with different tones and different sort of shading, it's going to be kind of impossible to tell what you're looking at, I think. So for me, the color is the way to go. I don't really have a color for inside the snout, just gray, muddy gray blue. There we go. Oh yeah, forget the inside of the ear is supposed to be light blue too. There we go. There we go. Stati said, have you ever thought of outsourcing minisodes or spin-off episodes with simplified designs? That's an interesting idea. The idea of taking the characters, making them look very different, and then using that as a way to launch easier stuff, or easier to produce stuff. I hadn't really ever thought about that. I think it's me, man. It's me and my stupid habits. I don't particularly like simple animation. It's a shame, because animation it really does make everything easier if character designs are very, very simple for hand-drawn animation. I don't know why. I think I was sort of a nerd when I was a kid, as opposed to now where I'm a complete jock Chad. I was such a nerd growing up. I sort of wanted to be an overachiever, or I thought it was cool to overachieve. And I always felt that other people were getting away with stuff, and I didn't want to get away with anything. I looked at, I don't know, kids' books that had super simple illustrations like the Mr. Men or something, and I thought, man, that's not as good as, I don't know, a kid's book with really complicated illustrations. I would always sort of gravitate to the detailed stuff, and I think it's my cross to bear, unfortunately. It's what I like, and it's what I've always gravitated towards. So I've never really thought about simplifying the designs for a spin-off, but it's a cool idea. It might work, actually. I'm not really poo-pooing it. Alright. Okay, so that's the snout done. Now, I gotta do the basic skin tone and the shaded skin tone. I can just use these, maybe. Why don't we do those at the same time? We just stay in the upper half because it's just going to be his fingers and his chest and head. We do all that at the same time, like that. Doop, 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 doop. Oh, all right. Terranium said, if you make full color monochrome, it'll be a gray mess. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you cannot take colored pages and then just desaturate them. And if I just remove the color layer, it doesn't pop, you know. Different, like the background doesn't separate enough from the characters, doesn't separate enough from the foreground. It doesn't work for me. But you can make a great black and white comic if it's designed to be in black and white. So I think you have to know up front if you're doing it in black and white or doing it in color. Joe Dudit said, I like how you stay on model no matter how close the camera gets. I just rewatched The Secret of Nim. It's a bit weird that some shots give the characters extra details. Well, you know, I think it's kind of a hindrance, actually. There's some issues that I have where this character is... he's being shown full body. He's actually kind of far away from the camera. So I've cut back on some of the shading details. But honestly, I should have cut back on more. I should have cut back on more of the shading. It's a little bit crazy how much line work and stuff there is. But I'm glad you appreciate it, Joe. All right. Oh, it's tough doing the skin. There's so many areas that I've just totally forgotten about. Little gaps and things. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm just going to turn the air conditioning on for a moment, guys. I'm getting a bit toasty in here. Sorry if it blares down the microphone too much. Gurple said, redesign the Starbarians to look like the human snot. Now that is a very efficient character design, the human snot. See, I did that when I was 16, and I've unlearned that now. I'm much worse. Nearly 20 years later, I'm like unable to make an efficient looking character. But yeah, that would be great. I should do something with the human snot. Oren's Odyssey said your animation is the most beautiful I've seen. Says, oh, come on, Oren. That's not fucking true. That's not true. Go and look at like a Nick Cross film or something. There's way better stuff. But thank you, man. Terranium said, how tall are the Starbarians? I think Hogstrong's probably about 5 foot. And you could probably work out Kilgar from that. I figure it's something like maybe 5 foot and 8 foot. Like roughly. If just compare, you know. If Hogstrong is 5 foot tall, Kilgar would be about 7 foot, 8 foot. But I mean, I've not measured them or anything. And honestly, their scales do change. Oh, what am I doing here? I'm coloring all this, coloring the armor wrong. Okay, that's enough air conditioning. I'm getting cold now. I'm good for the next hour. All right, let's turn that off. What a stream. I'm just slowly losing my mind doing all this coloring. What fun. I think you miscolored the tummy, said Davy88. That's very likely. No, that looks good actually. That's good. The stomach is supposed to be in shadow because his abs are like a little kind of vacuum. They're sucked in a little bit, and the shadow is falling on the areas that, you know, are less sort of prolific. Okay, that looks alright. And we'll do the fingers now and the bottom of the chin. And we'll come in and do this stupid monkey face. Really the ears should be in shadow too, but you can get so crazy with detail and just get so focused on coloring and shading everything the exact right color. That's why these things end up taking a lifetime. Okay. All right. There we go. So once we've done the skin tones, it really will be the armor, which is a remaining detail, and what the drop shadow, his feet. Give me 1 second, guys. My glasses broke recently, and I'm fixing them with tape. And I don't know if it's my sweat or what, but it's the tape needs to be reapplied because they are just dangling off my ear. So that sound you can hear. This is what a high quality production. This is a great indicator of the kind of production that I run. Things are being literally fixed with tape. Oh man, that's sad. Give me a second here. Just wrapping it in tape. I'm not Harry Potter, I promise. I'm not going to go sleep under the stairs. Let me see. Dude, it said, if you had a magical ability to animate at the speed of light, would you want to make more Trilby Dog? Would I want to? Fuck yeah! No, Trilby Dogtooth is my jam. The whole... Okay, I don't want to get into it too much, but if I could only do one project, it would be that one. But I don't think it's the thing that people would like to see the most. And I'm looking at getting a little bit more in terms of, you know, a little bit more in terms of finances to be able to make the projects that I want to make. And I think to do Dogtooth, I have to do Starbarians. To do Starbarians animation, I've got to do Starbarians comics. So it's all tied together. But yeah, I really want to do Dogtooth. I have tons and tons of scripts and ideas and designs and all this stuff all piled up. And I was talking to Joyce about it today. Eventually, if it doesn't happen as animation, it'll happen as a comic. And there'll be a giant Trilby Dogtooth comic. So that's how I'll do it, if I have to. I'd like it to be in a film or in an animation, but we'll do it, you know, just do it the indie way. Any way it can be done, it's going to have to get done. Good. Okay, we're good on that. Terranium said, I think Dogtooth is the best cartoon you've made. Thank you, Terranium. I really want to improve it for the second one. I have feature film type ideas for Dogtooth, you know, hour-long, 2-hour-long ideas that I won't be able to get to anytime soon, but I have a couple of little 5-6 minute Dogtooth cartoons planned, and I think the second one is way better, like a big step up. Not, I know, obviously, in terms of animation quality, I guess I'd want it to step up, but in terms of storytelling and ideas, I think it'd be more interesting. It's a more interesting monster that he's fighting. That's more of a challenge, And the idea is that with every story, the challenge gets greater and greater until he's fighting things that are really awful. But yeah, the idea is to do more of it. But people, the last one didn't catch on hugely. Did less than 1 million views, and I don't think that people would line up for a Trilby Dogtooth comic immediately. I think that a Starbarians comic should come first, so that's kind of the game plan for now, is to make some Starbarian stuff and some Dogtooth stuff later on down the line. King says, Harry, have you seen the intro for the show The Brothers Flub? I have not seen that, no. Joe Dudit said Trilby Dogtooth's voice is the character that seems to be closest to your natural tone. Oh yeah, definitely. It's basically me, but a little bit more kind of rough and cockney. A little bit more like, oi! Well, I can't even think of what he fucking says. It's been so long since I've seen the cartoon. Snapper chap. I don't know, that kind of thing. I don't like his design. His design is going to get a little bit of a work. Not a ton. He's not going to look totally different, but I want him to just be a little bit cooler looking. Not quite so guy in a schoolboy outfit. He's a bit schoolboy looking at the moment, a bit weird looking. I want him to have a little bit more edge. A little bit more of a kind of combat ready look. So, anyway, just... It's tacky to talk about it. I should just go and do it. But as you can see, my time is pretty maxed out right now. Everything takes a long time. Independent animation, comics, all that stuff takes a long time. So okay. All right. Geranium said, would you consider crowdfunding a Dogtooth movie after a cool trailer? Yeah, I would. I think that if people are not interested in the comics in the way that I'd like, and I think they will be. I think that a comic is a good thing to do. But if it's not enabling me to do the projects that I'd like to do as a result of the comic, I think I would just consider kickstarting individual projects. I think that makes a lot of sense. So it would work not just for Dogtooth, but for Starbarians and things too. I think that that's still a very valid approach for finding funding. Fuck. Ah! He blew himself. Okay, let me see. Make him fight Stephen the Lesbian, said Martin Balmforth. Man, I don't think so. Adrian said, play any games, Harry? No, not really. I'm too busy these days to play video games. I occasionally watch Joyce play video games as a thing that I do while collapsed on the sofa. That's about as good as I get. That's about as close as it gets to video games these days. It's sad, but that's what my life has become. It's just work. It's just drawing. So, which is why when I get comments that are like, you lazy fuck, and not putting out a cartoon in 6 months, I think it doesn't really bother me because I get it. These people just don't know they don't know how this stuff works. But it makes me just think, oh, like, I don't know what to do. It's this stuff just takes a long old time, and the only way you speed it up is with making a lot of money or getting a lot of slave labor together, which I should explore that. It's an interesting avenue I'm yet to fully exploit. Joe Dudit said, how hard is it to turn on the voices for your characters? Can you start making Kilgar voices at the drop of the hat? Yeah, pretty much. I tend to have like phrases that I have to warm up with. So with Dr. Bees, I always get in the booth and just go, "What's this?" And then it's like, then you kind of fit into this strange rhythm of talking. It's like, once you do the duh, duh, I go like, all right, so he doesn't talk like a normal person. He just speaks with a strange, weird lilt. Almost everything sounds the same. I didn't know about that. You know, you kind of get into it. So I tend to have like little phrases that they say. So for Dr. Bees, it's "What's this?" For Kilgar, I don't know, I haven't voiced Kilgar in a while, but it's like, just start being aggressive, start going, "What? I wouldn't, and then you're in the zone, basically. Just start bullying someone. Imagine that you're bullying somebody, and then you're in the zone. I'm trying to remember, I did that recently on a character. Maybe it was Dr. Bees, but I remember voicing somebody last year and having to always get into like a little phrase, a little pattern that they say, and then you can kind of warm up into it. Tyrannium said you can justify an outfit change by having his outfit be destroyed by a monster. Yeah, no, that is actually part of it. I had I want his hat to look more battered and like ripped up, and I thought, fuck, I'll just show it happening in this cartoon. I think it'll have to gradually happen, because I've written a cartoon where he gets his logo, and it isn't the one that I would do next. So even if I did change the look of his outfit in the next cartoon, he still wouldn't get his logo. You know, that would have to be the cartoon after, I assume. So yeah, he eventually kind of wears his logo like, kind of like Batman or something. It's, you know, it's not yellow and small, but it's becomes part of his outfit. Harry Ashfield said, "You're doing what you wanted to be doing, right?" Oh, 100%, man. Like, this is, I have a great life. I'm a very happy man. A lot of that is to do with Joyce. I've been married since 2012, and Joyce and I both don't have normal jobs. Like, we're not apart all day like a lot of couples. We are together in the same house all day and have been that way for nearly 12 years. And it's just the easiest thing on the planet, you know? She's just so easy to get along with. So I have a great relationship. I have a very fucking cool job. The only thing that's disappointing is just how long... It's reality of how long projects take to happen, because it used to not bother me when I was 21. I suppose it did bother me a little bit, but it didn't seem like a problem when you're in your 20s. But when you get to be in your 30s and you think, hang on, like, you start to really look, you can kind of visualize the future in front of you, and you go, okay, I saw my 20s evaporate, and I didn't get what I wanted out of my 20s. Now I'm seeing my 30s do the same thing, and I'm not getting what I want out of that. So you go, okay, I really see now, with a lot of clarity, how important time is, and what time is more valuable than money. It's the most valuable commodity on the planet. It's the only thing billionaires want, I'm sure. You know, they just want more time. They want time. You either buy time, buy other people's time, or you spend your own time. That's really all you can do. You can't magic more time. I'm sure they're working on some sort of transhumanist robot you plug your brain into and live forever. But for the time being, we have to make do with what we actually have in terms of just our years on this earth. So I think about that stuff a lot, and I think I'm making smart decisions. I'm not just blowing my brains out with drugs or something every day, but it could be a lot better. It could be a lot more efficient. But I made this mess myself because I like what I like. I like detailed animation. I like complicated looking comic books. I like live action films that have tons of props and costumes and things that take time to build. So, you know, never wanted to just be a stand-up comedian. I always wanted to make things that were very intensive from a sort of a labor perspective. So that stuff always takes up time and always will do. And that's okay. That's the trade-off. Joe Dudit said, "What's this? An animator who also does voiceovers, a live stream to his subscribers." Or to put a stop to that. Yeah, I like doing the voices, man. I always like performing and being a big old ham. Like Hogstrong, he's big and he's made of ham. It's fun. And it is hard to describe exactly what you want to a voice actor, because I tend to be lucky and work with people when I do hire other voices. I tend to work with people that are very skilled and don't need a ton of explanation. But what you don't want to do is, let's say you want Kilgar. I mean, I do Kilgar, but let's say we wanted someone else to do Kilgar, and he has to say, Hogstrong, you little cutie pie, or something like that. You don't want to tell the voice actor, hi, Mr. Voice Actor or Mrs. Voice Actor, this is exactly how I want the line. Hey, you little cutie pie. Do that. Because you can't really do that. You're sort of stifling their creativity. You can't give people line reads. You have to be clever in how you direct people and not step on their toes too much. I've heard other people do line reads, and I think it's too restrictive. And but if that's exactly what you want, and oftentimes when I'm directing other people, I do know what I want, and I could give them a line read, but I choose not to, or I try not to. You have to sort of find a way to get the performance exactly the way you want it. And sometimes their interpretation of it will be better than yours, and you shouldn't be too limited in your thinking. But if you're really tied into one kind of performance and that's what you want, it is tough to get it. And the best trick actually that I can think of is one that I heard Kerbifer in one of his vlogs talk about. He had a really good trick. Not a trick. It's not. I don't think it's deceitful, but a good method, which is if you want someone to sound a certain way when you're directing them to do a line, start speaking that way yourself, even though you're not giving a line read. So you're saying, if I wanted someone to say, you know, oh, Hogstrong, you little cutie pie, in like a little silly kind of baby voice like that, I think I'd have to say to them, okay, in this scene, Kilgar is doing a little sort of baby voice and he's talking like that, and I don't know, like, that seems like a line read again, but I'm not actually giving them the dialogue. I'm speaking like the character. I'm saying, okay, in this scene, he's really sort of getting up close and he wants to pat his head, and I'm not telling them exactly how to say it, but by kind of adopting the way the character would be sounding, you sort of plant the idea, Inception style, into their head and maybe get the performance you want. Or you should just be less of a control freak, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. I like things being the way I likes them. Dag nabbit. Let me see. Davy88 said, I don't like how people on 4chan think Harry is rich because of his father. Those people are fucking crazy. My dad he is a musician that had a lot of record sales in the 70s and 80s and 90s, but I don't think people realize how much record companies screw artists royally, like really screw them, especially in the 70s and 80s. And my dad didn't realize that when he was signing contracts that basically said, you get $100,000 or whatever to make this album, and he'd go, yay! And then they realized that you have to pay all that back out of the album sales. It's not your money. You're basically, it's not given to you. It's money that you are lending from your future self, and then splitting with the band 3 or 4 ways. So, no, my dad was definitely a successful musician. He's made great music and left a great legacy. But he's not a wealthy guy particularly. Although I think he does fine. He's not like needy or anything. But he doesn't send me like money. I have to pay my own rent and all my own bills. I don't live with him. He doesn't send me like, here son, have a $1,000 this week. It's not like that. So yeah, it's a little that bothers me. But these people, whatever, they just make up whatever they want to think. If I had like a crap ton of money, I wouldn't be coloring these frames myself and running a Patreon and selling t-shirts. And I wouldn't put tape around my glasses when they break because I'm waiting to buy a new pair. So I'm not complaining. I'm doing all right. But yeah, if I had a bunch of money, I would outsource the production of the stuff I wanted to make. So that would make things move a lot quicker and a lot smoother. But no, got to do it the indie way. Harry Ashfield said, I missed the start of the stream. Can someone catch me up? I mean, it was a lot of nothing. I think you're joking anyway. Some people say the same about Vivzy Pop. Oh my god, seriously? They think, oh my god. Couldn't they not put 2 and 2 together and see that she's getting like 10 million views with everything she does? And has a big Patreon and is selling tons of merchandise. And that's how she's making her work happen? Can they not see that? Would they really assume... Like, it's obvious that she is successful in her own right. She wouldn't need to be funded by someone else. That's ridiculous. I think that's the only thing that really gets to me is with that kind of criticism and stuff. It's not people saying Harry is smelly and fat and his cartoons aren't very good and he takes too long to make them. That stuff's all true. It's the stuff that is just like not true. It's annoying because you go, well, hang on, you can't write that if it's not true. That's just not true. That's the only kind of I suppose critique or comment. I don't really read comments, but that's the stuff that would only ever bother me is is when, you know, a person would make a thing up because you go, oh, come on, please. You'd have to know that to be able to share it, surely. And if it's not true, then it's not true. I remember when I was in my early 20s and I screwed up. I didn't realize how much tax I would owe one year, and I was going back about a decade, and I asked my dad that year to borrow some money, and he did help me out once in a big way about 10 years ago, and that was it. He was like, that day it was a case of, all right, son, this is it. Like, you are never getting this help again. And actually, I live in fear, as does my sister. We love our dad, obviously. It's not a critique of him at all, but we do both take it very seriously and understand that you don't expect your parents to ever get you out of financial situations, because well, obviously they have a right to say no, but it's you can't do that. You don't really learn to solve your money problems ever by getting loans from people or by getting handouts from people. You sort of learn by creating it's like a system basically for how you make money and then how you keep on top of your bills and stuff each month. You have to have something in place because ultimately parents, you know, sadly don't last forever as well. Jesse Labrie said some people are just blind and don't understand how things work. It's fine. It's weird to think that a person would kind of guess the reality of something and then let everyone know based on their assumption. That's annoying. But I mean, I sound like Michael Jackson now. He would always say like, they make up rumors about me. And I bet a lot of them were fake, completely fake. I know that he was a wacky guy, but you know, it's tough. Like, it's tough to think that, I don't know, just any people can make up whatever they want and then put it out there, and others will read it and go, oh, right, wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. That must be true. All right. I'm nearly done with his bloody skin tone. Hey, Hyper Wizard. Oh, yeah, sorry, Harry Ashfield. Yeah, I suppose there was some context missing. Yeah, I am making a short mini Starbarians cartoon for later this month. By the 18th, it is planned. And it's nothing to write home about. It's not really going to excite people or move the needle. People are going to go, what? Why'd you go away for 28 years and come back with this? But I think that I've been thinking a lot about, you know, just content in general, and I think that it's something that I should do. I should give people stuff, especially before asking for any kind of pre-order for a comic. I should give people free entertainment, even if it's small. Right now, it's not exactly what I'd like to be doing. I love telling longer stories, but I think for the time being, this is better than nothing. So It's the better than nothing model is that I'm basing everything on. That's my excuse. It's better than absolutely nothing. And the nice thing is it will be complete. I mean, this shot that we're doing here, it's an 8-second shot, I think, in total. And you look at it, and the whole cartoon is probably going to be less than a minute, I think. And looking at an 8-second shot that got done in a couple of days, I think to myself, that's like, it's exciting. You go, okay, like I see it now. I can see how this cartoon is going to get done basically on time. I would like it if it was 28 minutes long. I keep going with 28 as my sort of funny sounding, cumbersome length of time for riffing with. But yeah, I think that it's going to come together on time by the 18th. Novel said, I heard that Wacky Harry built a boat out of nothing but bread crusts and sailed to America in 2014. I wouldn't get there. It's carbohydrates. I'd eat it all up. I mean, you know what my dinner is going to be tonight? So I went on a 2-hour walk today and carried a load of shopping home. And I sweated like a rapist the whole time. And I haven't showered yet. And I came home. And you'd think I'd treat myself. But no, I had a thin broth and vegetables and boiled chicken. And tonight is the carb blowout of the century. I have a sausage roll and a Cornish pasty and cereal. And I am like packing in a month's worth of carbohydrates in one meal. And that's going to be my reward after the stream. The cereal in question is Cocoa Pops, which is my favorite cereal. I don't have cereal very often, but when I do, Joyce was like, oh, you're going to get healthy cereal or a slightly healthier one. I said, no, if I'm going to be bad, if I'm going to have cereal, I'm going whole hog. Okay? We're doing Cocoa Pops. Because I love me a Cocoa Pop. Norgamka said, short stories are a good way to be creative too. Yeah, actually, this was a challenge. This was a real damn challenge. To the point that I sort of philosophized about, is this a funny enough idea? And I don't know if it is. I'll be perfectly frank. I don't think this cartoon is great. But there was a part of me that thought I could get paralyzed with trying to be excellent. I could get all worked up about, oh, it's not good enough. It needs to be perfect. I need to make it better. And then I just thought, no, just move. Like, don't freeze up. Move, do it, get it done. Okay? Get it out there. And even if it's an imperfect something, I've said this so many times, but I keep fucking repeating myself for a reason, which is that I believe in it ultimately. An imperfect something is better than a perfect nothing. So, you know, we know what the last 5 years looks like where I don't make regular cartoons. It's because I let them take forever, and a lot of the time I want them to be splendid. And it's kind of an arrogant thing too. I think a lot of the time perfectionism is sort of a sign of arrogance. Like, if you think you're a perfectionist, or you think, I'm going to let this take forever, it sort of assumes that your work deserves that level of attention. It doesn't. I haven't made anything ever in my life that probably deserved the amount of time it took to make it. It's really a case of let it be imperfect, because it's not worth freaking out over and letting it take forever. Just allow yourself to make a product that has some imperfections. And don't be arrogant to think that you're making this magnum opus when you're not. You're making a dumb, gimmicky space barbarian cartoon for YouTube. All right, you're getting a lot of this today. Terranium said, can you tell us why he's covering his eyes? Yeah, I think I gave it away earlier. It's a Medusa. Medusa monster, basically, is around, and I will show you, but before we leave today, I'll show you the whole shot, and you can see my little background that I did, and that will kind of show you why he's hiding his eyes. Oh man, I think that's the skin tone's done. All right, it's just the armor left. How are we doing? Oh my gosh. Oh boy, I think I might be a little bit going over 3 hours today, but I think it's going to be doable. All right, so that's armor, shadow, and armor. Normal fill. Oh my gosh. All right, I might just do... Yeah, I'll try and do it all at once. Oh, these characters, man. Every time I get excited about doing Starbarians, and then I do 1 or 2 shots with these motherfuckers, and all of the... What is this? There we go. I've locked that layer now because I keep coloring it by accident. Yeah, I do 1 or 2 shots with these motherfuckers, and all of their just incessant line detail, and it is hard. They are poorly designed for animation. It's a shame that they're basically designed to be action figures. That's what they're designed for. I thought they'd make cool looking toys, because they make miserable things to animate. There's so much of them. There's me thinking it would be so cool. It'd be so cool if they had like makeup and stripes through their hair and capes and yada yada yada. Alright, what's the chat saying? Hey, Baron Blackmore. Yeah, the cost of perfection is infinity. That's a good quote. Norgam Cast said, imperfection also can make something better sometimes. Imperfections make something more personal and interesting. Yeah, actually, I touched on that earlier today when I was talking about that beautiful James Baxter Medusa animation, because it's so good. And my initial feeling was it's too good. I want to see it roughed up a bit. I want to see like more squash and stretch that makes the character look ugly. I want to see more humanity in it. And part of me feels, is that me being a bitter animator that feels intimidated by somebody with far greater talent? Because that's a real thing that I think a lot of creative people and non-creative people too, you know, whatever it is, sports, you fall into that trap where you criticize people when you love what they do. You think they're great, but it's a criticism born of rivalry or intimidation. Or you're like, oh, that guy's not so good, or whatever it is. Person sees someone better looking than them, so they feel they have to make a comment about their ugly shoes or something because they're intimidated on some level. That happens so much, and I think it's a good thing to be conscious of, that we have all that sort of jealousy within us. But I think I'm trying to be genuine here when I just feel it's amazing work that I think would be better if it was a little bit more I don't know, if I could see the hand in it a little bit more, the person's hand, which I mean like their sort of humanity. It's almost so good I feel like a machine made it, but I'm not trying to take anything away from the work. It's so good. Harry Ashfield, oh, he's talking to Dylan. Let me see. Jesse Labrie said, damn, I'm looking at all those frames and feel like the sweat coming on. Dude. I don't know, maybe he's talking about the James Baxter thing, but Jesse, even what I'm doing is making me sweat. And trust me, when Joyce comes in the office later today, she's gonna smell it. She's gonna smell it and she's gonna pass out. Part of me feels like, actually, if I can be done in the next half an hour, she's still busy right now, she's still doing stuff, I might be able to shower before she's done, and that would be glorious if I could shower before because I've only in the last 2-3 hours I've only become smellier. Smell does seem to have a very linear trajectory in that unless you shower, you don't tend to ever smell better. Trust me, I've waited for weeks at a time. I've given it a month, 6 months. It just don't seem to ever smell better. Just have to shower like a fool, like a buffoon. William said, I can't wait for the Starbarians episode. I'm hyped. Dude, please don't expect too much. It's a tiny little gag. It's nothing. Okay? It's nothing. It's nothing to really look forward to. But hey, if it makes 1 or 2 people join the Patreon, next month might get a little easier. Maybe I can hire some colorists. If after that I can finish Dr. Bees, that might pull a few more people in. I feel it's a baby steps thing, you know? It's just baby steps. That's where my mind is at the moment. And where my feet are. Taking little tiny baby steps. Fuck. Harry Ashfield said, what does Joyce do for a living? You'd have to ask her that. She could explain it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit... I might be too... I don't really want to give that information away. I probably have already on another stream. But, yeah, I should create some boundaries there when it comes to stuff that concerns Joyce. But, I hope one day, actually, you do get to see a creative project of hers. I don't think she'd mind me talking about that. She's one of the most creative people I know. But unlike me, she isn't focused with outcomes. She doesn't care about the outcome of the creative endeavor. And I can't imagine that. That to me is a strange way of approaching a thing where she's like, well, if it gets finished or whatever, if anyone sees it, that doesn't matter to me. I'd do it even if I was on a desert island and no one would ever look at it. And I think, what? That's crazy. I want to put on a show. I want to, like, you know, be out there with my straw bowler hat and my little cane, dancing and showing off my cartoons. Joel said Baxter's a super precise animator. You can always see the chicken scratch tie downs because he's so careful. Other than maybe someone like Glenn Keane. Yeah, still fun to see how different every animator is in their approach. Norgum Cat and Hyper Wizard think that Joyce has a good philosophy. What about my philosophy? What about my big show-off ham philosophy? What about that? I need attention and validification. No, I agree. It would be amazing if I didn't have any, if I didn't have that kind of need for an outcome. But I don't think the outcome for me is that the thing makes a ton of money. But I think that unlike the work that she does, that's more geared towards sort of books and illustration, which I think you can do on a sort of a lower budget. If you are attracted to film and motion as your medium, if you want to make, you know, impressive looking cartoons and movies, the things have to generate income to be able to continue to make more of them. That's essentially the sort of difference between Joyce and I and our philosophies. So it's good that she shacked up with me, because because I can afford to take her out for some dinner occasionally. I look forward to the day that her creative projects can take us out to dinner, but I think that's going to be a while. God bless her. She is extremely talented, though. Hey, Adam X. Adam X. Sounds like a cool comic from the 2000s. Hyper Wizard says your show off ham makes a very entertaining energy within the art. Well, thank you, Hyper. Appreciate it. Jesse Debris says, I'll have to go if I don't catch up with you before the end of the stream. Yeah, take care, Jesse, man. Appreciate all your support, dude. Take care. Vacanza? Yeah, I'm still going strong, Vacanza. I don't know about strong, actually. I'm still puttering through weakly and feebly because I really want this shot to be done. I thought this shot would be done yesterday afternoon. I thought lunchtime yesterday. It is now 10 p.m. today, my time, and rolled over twice, and I was still on the bitch. Yeah, it's horrible. Okay, all right. I just got a sweat going. I think Joyce is going to be done before me. Fuck. She's tied up doing family stuff, and it's going to take her until probably, let me see, it's 5 to 10 now. The plan was that I would be done way before her at 9 or 10. That's why I can't predict how long these cartoons are going to take. If you look at it on a kind of a micro level, something that I thought was going to take me, I thought I'd be done yesterday lunchtime, I would be hard pushed to be finished by today at like 11 p.m. If you extrapolate that to the entire project, to every background, to every shot, to every sound effect, every piece of music, every voice line being recorded, and that's what happens, every single thing. It's like, it's impossible. I can never predict how long these things are going to take, other than about 100 times longer than I think. That's the only kind of persistent thing, is that it's never as brief as I would like it to be. But I can get this done by the 18th. It can be done. All right. Slashbolt says, "Hey Harry, bit off topic. I noticed that Hogstrong's character changes from teaser to episode 1, episode 3. Would episode 3 be Hogstrong still kidnap Bastilda? He seems like a bleeding heart now." I don't know if he's a bleeding heart. I think that he's trying to do damage control, basically. He's damage control. He doesn't want Kilgar to just murder people without hesitation. He would like to generally help out people. But yeah, you're right. You're completely right. Originally, my intention was that they're both going to be complete monsters, and then I think it's just better dramatic contrast to have somebody who is, doesn't want that to be the case. He would like them to save a few lives. I have a backstory for Hogstrong that would make him more amenable to the idea of looking out for people and not being a jerk, and a backstory for Kilgar that makes him a lot more jerk-centric. And yeah, you're right. I don't think he would kidnap Bastilda, so that's a bit of a problem, but it's my own cheesy little goofy thing that I do. It's not. I don't feel like I have to necessarily worry too much about that kind of continuity error. It's so obvious that the show is made by essentially one person for the most part, so I think people can understand that. The episodes are so far apart. But when it comes to the comic and other ways that I may be able to tell longer form stories, I think that's something that I'd like to address, because I take that stuff seriously. I do think about continuity more than I should probably, and I have a little explanation or an excuse figured out for why he did that. It's not a very good excuse, but it's something. Yeah, Bowser's got the point. He's doing his damnedest. I feel like if Superman was your best friend, but a horrible, horrible, murderous monster of a person, you'd hang out with him still, but you'd be like, hey, hey, can you not throw that, you know, elementary school into the sun today? Could you maybe go and stop that tidal wave from crushing that village? Maybe, just maybe. I don't think that necessarily means that you'd have to be a bleeding heart. You'd just be a normal person, basically, that's anti massacres. Hoofy Rider said you can't rush art. Hoofy Rider, I agree with you, but I'm really trying. I would personally love to rush some art. I just want it to be good art. But yeah, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for the app or the AI that can help me rush through it. Whew, let me see. Harry Ashfield says, so like Homelander from The Boys. Yeah, I've not watched The Boys or read the comic, but I've seen clips, and I guess Homelander is the Superman-looking guy who is a complete monster. I don't think Kilgar actually is a complete monster either. I think he is a incredibly selfish being that doesn't care about other people. So it's not so much that I think he wants to murder, but he will. He doesn't think about people. He'll do it indiscriminately if they're in the way, or they inconvenience him, or they hurt his little fragile ego. So I think that, you know, it's not so much that he enjoys murder. Maybe he does. I guess he probably does. I can't make him too soft. They have to be barbarians at the end of the day. Okay. And my voice is going. You can probably hear it. Oof. The only thing I guarantee is that if Joyce finishes before me and has to come up into my office to get me, I'll have her tell people how bad it smells in here on the stream, because that might be funny at least. I walked so much today, and I carried a heavy load the whole time, and your boy needs to shower. I'm just sitting here for 3 hours and not moving. It's not been good for the window is open. I'm right next to the window and it's open, but the air is not flowing. You didn't need to hear all that. I'm sorry. Hyper Wizard said episode 5, Hogstrong gets fed up, goes off the chain, finally causing Kilgar to try pumping the brakes. Yeah, maybe. Davey Kirkham. No Go Animate. Is Go Animate still going? I have no idea if it's still around even. I think it's probably changed a lot over the time. Special Fish said, my guess is Kilgar is like the fight and the loot, but isn't one for sneaky murder, more in your face slaughter. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Man, I just want to tell stories with these friggin' characters, because then I don't have to be cringe and talk about it. I feel like just talking about it is sort of like, I don't know, it's when my sister tells me about her D&D character. It's very hard to care. It's like somebody telling you a dream they had. I had a dream. I was in this weird supermarket and it was on fire, and it doesn't mean anything. You zone out. Not that my sister's D&D character isn't super interesting. I love my sister. She's great. William Smalley said, I don't know if Go Animate is still around or not. Hyper Wizard said more like no animate. Bujingo. Buzrango. Alright, I'm gonna get a blast of AC again. I'm getting a bit hot and bothered. Man, we've only done that much of the, oh, it's so brutal. It's making me think I really do need to just never ever show them full body in any context. Or do things like drop the shading when it's full body. But I feel like that might... This is the first shot of the cartoon, though, so I feel like it had to be on the money. Had to come back strong, like I meant it, you know, put my best foot forward kind of thing. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, I'll turn off that AC now. Sorry about the noise. Oh boy, alrighty. Let me see. Novel said that was the most Zoomer thing Harry's ever said. I don't want to be cringe. Like, maybe I have some hidden Zoomer tendencies. You don't know. Occasionally, you know, things fall into popularity. They become popular because they're useful. Cringe is a good useful phrase. Just saying I don't want to be embarrassing doesn't quite cut it. You know, I don't want to make your skin crawl. I don't want to regret saying this, but like there's other ways you could do it, but they don't, to me, they don't have the, I don't know, the punch. Cringe is a good word. Dylan Royer said, do you like Cartoon Network? I don't dislike it, but I mean, I don't watch it. I don't actually have a regular TV, so I don't have, you know, regular stations or anything. I just have an Xbox, basically, with Amazon Prime that I can buy films through if I want to watch a particular film or TV show. I just do it through that. Arch Hippie said, I had a dream where you were playing D&D as a buff pig. Oh, you're kind of combining some of the things I said together earlier. Yeah. NT Hackman! Hey, NT Hackman. And Arch Hippie, I hadn't said hello to you yet. NT Hackman, he said, do you think the Starbarians would like Sublo? Would they like them? As in like them as human beings? Or like them as the show? Like be a fan of the show? I will say, I think that Hogstrong would try to tolerate most living creatures, no matter their creed, you know, species, gender, whatever. I think he'd be very accommodating, generally. I think Hogstrong, which is the other one? Is the big one? I think Kilgar just get angry and hate most things. So Kilgar no, Hogstrong yes. Oh man. The armor has taken longer than anything. I guess it's because he has so much of it. They're clad in this nonsense from head to toe. Oh. I'm wondering if I'll even finish this today. not only do we have to finish the armor, which is rapidly becoming the longest part of the process, but gotta do the drop shadow under him. That won't take long, but it's still another step. You know, I should just get a big fat brush and try and do all the... I can maybe get through it quicker. Oh boy. Joel Mayer said, "Oh wow, Harry's still at it." Yeah, I know, man. This is going to be a 4-hour stream at this rate. I thought I could be done by 10, but nope. Nope. Yeah, Harry's still at it. I'm glad I continue to... Yes, you can continue to in-between with me in the background. Me sitting on your shoulder. Terranium said, "What would happen if your creations met each other?" Oh, man. I'm getting all the cool questions. That's a cool, fun question. Terranium, let me see. There's always this, sort of like the funny answer, or the... You know, if you had to write a story, you'd come up with something kind of interesting. But if it was if I was trying to answer realistically, just Kilgar would kill people. It'd be horrible. It wouldn't be nice. I think Hogstrong and Dogtooth would be alright. They'd be a couple. They'd be Hogtooth. Dr. Bees would throw... Honestly, I don't have a funny answer. Dogtooth just... Dogtooth. What's the other one? Dr. Bees? He'd throw a load of bees at people. Kilgar would kill people, and Hogstrong and Dogtooth would just be chill. Be pretty chill. Let's see. Harry Ashfield said, according to Google, when Flash died, it took Go Animate with it. Silver linings. Whatever. I'm not heated up about Go Animate. I think I was when I was a stupid kid. Basically, when I was in my early 20s, I felt threatened in some way. In a way, I don't know. I don't even feel threatened by AI particularly. A lot of people do, and I understand that, especially if you feel like your job could be affected by it. But in terms of if other people can make... This is a weird thing happened. I don't know why. Maybe it's an age thing. I used to be a lot more jealous of other people's achievements, and I think it's a really sad... It's a sad thing to be, and I'm glad that I don't feel it anymore. And eventually I thought, if I want to be better, if I'm upset that I'm not better, you don't get better by ignoring and shunning the great things that other people are doing. You get better by looking at it and going, holy crap, that man or woman or whatever, they are kicking my ass. Look at that. Look at how good their art is. Look at how much they're making. Look at how efficient it is, or how speedily they're putting it out, how much people love it. Look at that. Look at that. And it boils something inside you. It boils it up. But it doesn't have to be rage. You know, it used to be in my early 20s, I would be jealous of stuff like that. And something happened in my late 20s and 30s where I just started thinking like, yes, that's great. They're kicking my ass. I like that. I like to see other people make amazing stuff and succeed, because it means it's sort of a good reminder of, my God, you can still do it. Okay, sometimes you lose hope, not just in your art, but in art in general, and you think, oh my God, why am I doing this? It's just pointless. Oh, I can't do it. It's taking forever. You hear how dopey and like mopey and moany I am tonight doing this. I mean, I'm working at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, but you hear how like down in the gutter I am with this fucking coloring in tonight, as if I'm in the trenches. I'm coloring in, for heaven's sake. And then I go and I look at something made by, I don't know, like Felix Cosgrave or whoever, man. It doesn't matter. Like a new funny, whatever. It could be a new funny thing I hear in Oni plays. Like Psychic Pebble says something funny, Zach says something funny, or Chris says something funny, and it makes me think like, man, I want to be funny. I want to make a funny thing. Those people are doing it, and they're doing it better than me. And what's my thing? What's my version of that? Oh, I should get back to the animating. Stop hating on it and being jealous, and get back to work and make stuff. So I don't know why I am. Oh yeah, it was Go Animate that triggered this big rant. Basically, I used to be intimidated by, oh, people are going to start making good stuff and they're going to start making it faster than me. It doesn't bother me anymore. I invite it. I invite a good ass kicking because it's a great fatigue restoration potion from Oblivion. It's a great restore fatigue. When you're feeling fatigued, if you can somehow flip that switch where seeing other people's great work doesn't actually make you blue but makes you enthused, then I think you're going to be much better served and much more competitive and happier too, ultimately too, because you only get one life to live. Why spend it being a mopey, miserable, jealous poo-poo head? Hey, Dope Bone said, hey Harry, I just got home from a 13-hour trip with bus, train, and ferry boats. I'm exhausted considering you're streaming. I feel the same way, but I didn't do all the cool stuff you did, traveling across the world like Carmen Sandiego in your hovercraft / unicycle / TIE fighter all in one journey. It's hard to try and be funny on a stream. Sometimes I start off with something, I think that's good, I can roll that into something, I can do something with that, and it just turns into a little wet fart of a sentence that never really goes anywhere. Sati said, Harry, oh no, he doesn't say Harry, he said, have any Let's Players ever approached you to do an animation for them? Yeah, one guy did, and I didn't know who he was, because I'm not 12. No, I watch Oni Plays, and I watch Mike Matei. I watch people from my sort of era, I guess, that I'm more familiar with. Yeah, a guy did, I won't say his name, because I think that's crude, but I had never heard of him, and he asked me if I would do an anniversary video for him. He had a ton of subscribers, just an insane amount, and I don't know if he was feeling it. I quoted a price to him and it didn't work out and we didn't go ahead with anything. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, so I talked to somebody about it. But never like, little bumpers or anything. It was just an actual video. It wasn't going to be, an overlay or a bumper or anything like that. But I think telling you who it was would be kind of kiss and tell a little bit. FunCube said, oh hey, how much did I miss? Oh, 3.25 hours we've been streaming so far, FunCubes, but you didn't miss anything of value. A couple of rants, mostly me complaining about the smell in my office being caused by my own presence, and a lot of griping. It's really been a royal gripe-a-thon for 3 hours. Okay. Scribble that in there. Funcube said, I like the rants. Good. Good. Bowser said the partridge musk. It's, I don't know if it's, I think musk is too light a term. It's somewhere, it's graduated musk, and it's veering towards stank. Geranium said, are you going to reveal the Medusa's design to us? You know, the Medusa is actually not in the cartoon very much, and I have not finished any of the shots that she's in yet. I will say this, though. It's pretty dialed in, lazy design. It's kind of thing you've seen before. Just imagine how I draw women, but with snakes for hair. If you can picture that, you're good. Although she doesn't have big tits particularly. She's really only in 2 shots, actually, and you don't see much of her. It's a close-up, and then one from mostly behind. Like I said, it's a very short cartoon. Try and save time with a big fat brush. Oof. Oh. Oops. Forget the little hairband things. Okay. Yeah, this brush is a fatter way of doing it, or a sillier way of doing it, but it's sort of more efficient. I'll have to do this manually. Oh boy. Oh boy, come on, come on. Let me see. Hyper Wizard says it's like a regular Medusa, but the boobs are snakes. That'd be gross. Lactating venom. Do the snakes have boobs? They don't, Special Fish Simon. You guys are giving me too many good ideas. Hey, Magpie! How you doing, Magpie? Magpie, I'm feeling pretty beat up. We've been going now for nearly 3.5 hours. Nice to have you here, though. Bringing some medical supplies to the front line. Bringing me a fresh Wacom pen and a fresh little half glove for rubbing against the tablet, and a lemonade. Okay. How many frames do we have left to color? We have this one, and then one long hold, and then a couple after the hold, and then it's home stretch, baby. It's Homestar Runner. Oh no, I forgot to color his hand in here. That stinks. Color those little fingers in. Okay, shadow, 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 shadow. Right, let's get that gray in. No, this is not the hold yet. We're nearly at the hold. And the hold takes us a long way nearer to the end of the line. Whew. All right, what are people saying? Bowser says whispers, touch, essence, passion, forever, partridge musk, cow. Oh, you're putting an impromptu cologne ad together for me. Funcube said, now I need to imagine 3 guys following Harry around with little bottles collecting the musk droplets. Oh god. Guys, don't talk about me like this. It's very embarrassing. Talking about me being smelly. I think it's because Magpie has turned up and now I feel self-conscious. Statements have been made to the tune of me possibly needing a shower today, Magpie, because I did a lot of walking and now I'm doing a lot of animating, and it's quite warm in my office. So if you're curious, Axma said I remember suggesting a humanoid centipede with breasts for legs. Axma, what the heck? Terranium couldn't sleep for days. Magpie said the nipples could also be snake heads and alive. It's a funny idea, but I have to. Someone has to keep this thing from going completely out of control. Alright. I think this is just making me realize, it's just a good reminder that if there are to be more Starbarian stuff coming anytime soon, it just honestly, sometimes just making a little animation with your characters can be a great little wake-up call to how hard it is. I forget how tough it can be, but it's just a basic. Yeah, sorry, I'll get to my point. I'm completely waffling because I'm tired. It's a good reminder that I have to be limited with the amount of frames. Basically, I always do this thing where I animate a shot and then I see how many frames could have been removed, and it's usually about half. I could probably get away with about half the frames, and it wouldn't be as nice, but it would be. First of all, it'd take a lot less time, but it doesn't totally screw up the shot. It kind of keeps the same flow, the same meaning, and it's a good reminder that you can overdo it with animation, and I tend to overdo it a little bit. I think too, viewers kind of adjust to whatever you do. If you start over animating every shot and adding 1,000,000 frames to everything, and then you quit, they go, oh hey, what happened? That was I was enjoying that, or I was getting used to that and I was adjusting to that, and now you've pulled it away from me. And if you don't do that, if you keep a really basic limited approach, I think that people can actually begin to forget that what they're looking at is limited, and they start zoning in on other things, the voice acting, the expressions, the drawing itself. So you kind of can make your own trap for yourself if you just go too hard on the amount of drawings and the amount of in-betweens or whatever. You can end up writing yourself a check your butt cannot cash. Magpie said, don't worry, Harry, I won't judge your shower habits. All I've been animating lately are Emperor Belos thirst traps. I don't know who that character is. I'm too weird to judge anyone. He. Oh, okay, other people know who that is. Hoofy Rider knows who that is. Dylan says, can you do a cartoon with the cat and the dumb dog? Is that... What is that, Dylan? What is the cat and the dumb dog? Are they specific characters? I did like Two Stupid Dogs when I was growing up. Joyce didn't get into that show when she was a kid, but I really liked Two Stupid Dogs. It's a shame. I don't know what app you need to watch Two Stupid Dogs, but I've tried finding it on YouTube, hoping that there'd be a couple uploaded, but not been able to find anything other than clips. That's like a thing from my childhood that I've not been able to go back to. I've just never found an episode or anything anywhere, so I have fond memories of watching it when I was a kid. I don't know if I'd still like it, but I remember being into it at the time. Two stupid dogs. Two stupid dogs. Whew. Axma says it's on HBO Max. I don't have HBO Max, or Max as it's known now. Yeah, Arch Hippie, it was good, man. Fun Cubes. Oh, Terranium. Oh, you want to go to bed? Sorry, Fun Cubes was responding to you. Dude, come on. You can fall asleep to it. I'll promise not to scream. I won't scream. I'll try. If you want, I can try and be quiet and lull you. I may actually be able to aid your sleep. My gentle, lulling voice. I tell you guys, I want to wrap this thing up too. When I look at this sort of stuff, I think to myself, what is the point sometimes? What is the point? It's not like it isn't blah. I'm not trying to get existential about this. It's just that I feel like, what's the point in doing fancy animation when it can't be that fancy anyway? It's not ever going to compete with, you know, your Disney, your classic Renaissance era Disney. It's not even going to compete with like a really nice high budget anime. So what is it competing with? I don't know. I'm seeing that highlight there and get flickers on and off, and I don't like that. Deeply Incognito said the new Secret Squirrel shorts hidden in the Two Stupid Dogs were really good. Yeah, you know, I don't remember them so much, but I did like Secret Squirrel as a kid. It was one of the few Hanna-Barbera type characters I actually had a VHS of. So then that's really, those were not the secret. Sorry, those were not the Two Stupid Dog Secret Squirrels. Those were the originals, which were, I think, the 60s, 70s maybe. I had a VHS with Secret Squirrel. That's hard for me to say for some reason. And Squidly Diddly. Squidly Flippin' Diddly. Which was a squid that was like a sea world, basically. And he had a curmudgeonly boss. I'm thinking about it, actually. He was a squid, but he wasn't. Was he part of the attraction? I remember he had to clean up. He was like a janitor squid. So they got this SeaWorld place got a squid, but not as an attraction for the SeaWorld. They got him to be a janitor. Okay. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I seem to remember him cleaning up with a mop. Hey, comic tropes. Comic tropes. You're basically finding me wounded on the battlefield here. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours, and I'm still not done. But thank you for being here, buddy. Comic Tropes asks, how did you choose the Starbarian's colors? Oh my god, Joyce is done. Oh, honey, you done? I'm not done. I'm streaming still.
I figured, that's okay.
Come in here a second.
Come in here?
All I've talked about for the last couple of hours is how bad it must smell in here.
Yeah, well, you know, it's part of the job.
Because I told people that I did a long walk today, a very long walk, and sweated. It was very hot out, and I carried lots of things.
Yeah.
Can you back me up on that front?
Yeah, it's like a bear farm in here.
A bear farm. That's so horrible. Like this, and I do have taped my glasses up again.
Oh, honey.
My glasses keep falling apart. It's a pretty sorry state.
Yeah, people must think I'm a horrible wife.
No.
Just having taped glasses.
Well, no, I mean they didn't have to see that. I told them because I had to take a break to tape the glasses together.
We'll get some hardware tape.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
It's at least not scotch.
Look, I'm nearly done with this thing, but I am so done as a human being. I just wanna. What are they saying? What are the nice people saying?
Oh, let's see.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were reading already.
No, I'm so bad at this. I apologize, everybody.
Don't worry about it, honey. Don't worry about it, honey.
They're asking what a Starbarian's coronation would be like.
You've just been on the phone for like 4 hours, so
Yeah.
you're probably about as burned out and unable to formulate sentences as I am.
No, my throat starts hurting after like an hour of
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't complain about the call too much, did you?
The call?
About what I've been doing.
No, I just said you were indisposed doing family stuff.
Yeah.
No, I didn't broadcast my moanings about family.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, Comic Tropes asked how I found the Starbarian's colors. So basically, I just wanted a lot of pink and purple and blue, just kind of neon-y 80s colors, She-Ra colors.
Yeah.
And they use the inverse colors, like Kilgar has pink makeup, yellow hair, yellow and blue hair, and Hogstrong has yellow makeup and pink and blue hair.
No, I remember way back in the day. Gosh, what year was that?
Yeah,
When
you talk. You talk.
Well, when when you were first designing them, back when, like, I think there's some really old sketches on your Newgrounds still of them before.
There's more on hard drives, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's some sketches where they have like really crazy makeup and stuff, and I remember way back when you were cleverly being like, I'll keep it to a few colors and I'll invert them. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, I thought that was clever that you essentially share the same 3 neons, but in different ways between the two.
But they're not animation-friendly designs.
Well, no.
No, they are.
You are the least animation-friendly animator ever.
I'm an animation bully. I am incredibly unfriendly to myself when it comes to designs. Idiocy, you could call it. Feverish idiocy. Oh man, I literally have 3 frames left, but I just want to collapse on the sofa and eat. Do you need 10 minutes to like rest your voice and have a tea, or do you want to heat up some food or anything?
I don't know. Everybody's very curious about Bear Musk now. I was like, yeah, it's a slightly, barnyard with a predatory touch to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We have our simple joys. You were really excited about getting some sausage rolls today to have them, so I guess I will heat those up.
Yep, that was for after the stream.
I do cook, by the way. I'm sure he only talks about being excited for pizza and stuff, but I do cook.
No, you cook very well, and I consider every cooked meal a momentary pause in between my pizzas and sausage rolls, an inconvenience, an organic, well-cooked inconvenience on the road to more sausage rolls and Cornish pasties. No, all right. You want to say goodbye to the nice people, and I'll try and wrap this up in a way that's not embarrassing after 3.5 hours.
Okay. Yep. Sorry. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for being being nice, and I'm glad you don't have to smell in here.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Bye, honey. I'll see you in 5 minutes, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Think about what Relic Hunter adjacent show we're gonna watch.
Alright, love you. Man, what a bitch! She heard. No. We have our fun. Alright, man, I really should go. I was so sure that I would be done after 2 hours, and it's been 3 hours and 40 minutes. Comic Trope said Harry speaks about eating soup a lot. Yeah, she did make a soup for me today. That's why I'm able to eat a load of trash food tonight, because I had to have a healthy soup with vegetables and chicken for lunch. A thin broth, if you will, on a hot day. I don't know what she was trying to do to me, giving me a hot soup on a hot day. Yeah. Alright, okay. So, everybody, I am going to finish this animation, but I'm sorry to say there's going to be one element that won't be finished, which is the drop shadow. Oh, man. We're not even going to have time to fix little errors and things. I will finish this stream, wrap this bad boy up in 2-3 minutes. I'm sure it won't take much longer than that. I'll try and go as fast as I possibly can. And... come on. Come on now. Come on, Harry. Oh. Frick the drop shadow, says Davy88. Frickin' fricks! Is that the last frame? Oh, that's gonna be the last frame. That's gonna be the last frame. Okay. No! Come on. Okay. Okay, just fat brush. The fattest brush I can get. Just, come on. Stick it in there. Stick it right in there. Just right to the edge. So much easier than clipping it all in. Okay, still got to do the grays here. And then we'll do a color replace on red and green, which will remove the color separation lines for us. Okay. Color separation lines will be done. Or made invisible while I... Man, I feel bad for people just jumping on the stream now. Just listening to me basically sweat through my lips and mumble. Alright. Okay, last frame. Last frame. We're not doing the drop shadow. The drop shadow is unfortunately going to be left. It's the easiest part of the whole process. Oh gosh. And I'm ignoring it. Okay. There we go. Come on. Yes. Grr. Okay, let's just drop all that in there. Okay, like that. Yay! Yes! Okay. Alright, so now we do find and replace, and then we do find and replace the green with transparent, 0, replace all. That should be all of the green lines gone, yay. And now we do the same for the red line. Separate that. Replace. Yes. Okay, so now we should have clean Hogstrong. In fact, we can get rid of this little image here. This thing, the drop shadow. You know, so the drop shadow and the highlights would be blurred traditionally. We're not going to do that on the stream. That was never the plan. But you know what? I can finish the drop shadow. I can finish the drop shadow. I'll just make it. It might look a little off because it's not going to have any color to it. But it's going to be so easy to fill that in. Look at that. Just going through that. Rocketing through that bad boy. Rocketing through. Rocketing through. Oh no. Hang on. There we go. Oh, come on. Alright, and the last few frames. I was originally planning to... I can see little gaps and little errors and things, but whatever. I see all these tiny little gaps. But... if it looks acceptable in motion, we can end the stream. And Harry can be free. Okay. There's the background. There it is. There it is. Okay. Alright, let's take a look. I'm sure it's gonna chug massively. This is the shot. Let's hit save. Okay. And I'm sure it's gonna chug like a biatch, but here we have it. Daren't look around. There we go. Ha ha! All of that. All of that. But here we go. So, yes, some changes, some slight changes need to be made. Obviously, he needs to stay at the end there longer. And he needs to stay there. And probably what I'll do is, because this pose and this pose are basically identical, other than the leg. You can see it's the same pose, but one leg is kicked in, one leg is kicked out. I can actually sync up. I can actually have him continue to walk away using these frames. So he can actually walk just out a frame behind the column here, the toppled column, and that'll create a nice moment to edit to the next shot. Oh, thank you everyone in the chat for saying nice things. God bless you all. I don't deserve this attention, this patience, this money. I don't deserve a wife that could put up with the smell of some sort of laboratory where they're killing bears and harvesting their fear hormones, pheromones, whatever. That's what it smells like in here. I'm gonna shower. All right, guys, there we go. It's chugging along. There we go. There we go. Take that, story time animators. Take that. Only took 4 hours in my entire weekend, beginning at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, ending at 11 p.m. on Sunday night, to do one miserable little tiny walk cycle. I did the background this week, so yeah. Oh, there we go. All right. I want to say thank you to our intrepid, patient, generous viewers. Bowser the Bun, Harry Ashfield, Terranium. Hope you can enjoy the sweet embrace of sleep, my friend. Dylan Royer, Fun Cubes, Arch Hippie, Oren's Odyssey, Nacho Hamburg, Hyper Wizard, Axma, Sam Gay, Hoofy Rider, Davy88, Fun Cubes, Deeply Incognito, Comic Tropes, Magpie, Special Fish, Simon, Bruh, Steven, Novel. I apologize to anybody who I have not referenced, who has been around here for anything longer than 5 minutes. Cherry Bomber. You can hear my voice is totally given out. I think that's good for now. You have my deepest condolences if I've forgotten to say good night. But that is good night. FunCube says, what? Me twice? Look, let me off, okay? It's been a long day. Everyone take care. I'm going to get this cartoon out by the 18th of May. I promise, I swear. I'm going to keep up the intensity, keep up the work ethic. It'll be out when it's out, and we like that. All right, everyone. You have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Hoofy Rider, did I say goodbye to you? Take care, everyone. Have a good one. Speak soon. Much love. Good night.